Welcome, everybody, to At the Bar With podcast. I'm your host, Brett. As always, I'm here with my co-host, Stacy. And on the back behind me, you'll see Patrick streaming in from Sacramento, California. Today, we have a smart-ass guest, and I'm so happy to have him on. His name is Dave Gorman, a musician, and he's got all sorts of trades, wears a lot of different hats. So, Dave, say hello to everybody.
Hey, hello.
Now, Dave is a non-alcoholic drinker, so we were setting him up with a cocktail.
Wait, when I ordered it from the bar lady, I was expecting a little bit more pizzazz.
This is what you get for pizzazz.
Oh, my. Oh.
So, as you can see, it's going to have that layer. Your kids are going to love it.
He likes to layer stuff.
Do I get a garnish?
Yeah, no. Your garnish is the glass.
You know.
The garnish is your tongue.
Okay.
And once again, Brett brings in another guy with a whole bunch of hair. So
it is delicious.
Again, I'm jealous and it sucks ass because I'm missing my hair every day.
That's not what it's cracked up to be. I mean, you got a barber all the time.
You gotta wake
Lovely
up to
ladies are washing it and trimming it. You know, I mean, it's not just all that. I mean,
he's got like stellar hair.
I know.
Now to get back to the drink, because this is a bar today. Let me take a look. I'll show everybody. Stacy is drinking the Shell's Snowstorm, even though it's the summer, but this is a dark beer. It's kind of one of those winter.
I offered it to you, Brett, at first, but you said
I wanted to try this one. This one's called Bit Burger, and it's kind of one of these. Looks like it's one of these kind of shandy style.
Yeah, shandy style. It's got a lot of German words on it. It seems.
So we'll see
give it a shot.
I
think
you said this was a dark. It says red lager.
Yeah,
and the IBUs are a little bit higher
Mm-hmm.
than I. But it's not bad. It's pretty good actually.
Not bad. Patrick, what are you having this fine evening?
You guys.
V8? What?
You guys could have had a V8. Look at you. Poisoning your body. Then you could have beautiful 100% vegetable juice.
Yeah, well, it's not open either.
there you go.
So, yeah, no, that does you right in the morning if you've been out the night before. So.
Golden State cider.
So that's
Golden State. It's the one I have all the time. It's my go-to.
Yeah, that's that. We're gonna have to try to find something like that around here, or you're gonna have to send some of that.
So
up.
Patrick didn't get the memo. I thought there was no guns allowed on this podcast, but he's bringing them out today. What is going on there, Patrick? With a Kiss shirt on.
It's hot. It's 104 freaking degrees here, and I'm not wearing pants either. So 100%.
Oh,
Are you sitting on a metal chair naked with no underwear on?
Yes.
He's
Absolutely.
chilling. He's chilling, the boys.
So when you get up there,
breathe down there.
that squeakiness when you get up and walk away.
Oh, God.
Moving around a little bit.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
that's a lot to take in here for my first. I'm a first timer, guys. In case you're wondering, you know.
Yeah, at least that I'm
Thanks for
happy.
coming by.
Hey, Patrick, it's nice to meet you. How you doing? Oh, I see your balls are hanging down your knees like mine. All right, awesome.
Oh, my God.
So-
This is too much ball talk for me.
We're old. That's what happens.
So
Gold Bond medicated powder. As a kid, you never know what the fuck that shit's for. And then
Now you can't live without it.
Now,
You know,
now you know what it is.
You ladies aren't the only one that sag. Trust me. It's like one of those things. You know?
All right,
No. No,
here we go.
not here.
God. Yeah.
Anyway.
Wow.
Anyway, welcome to the podcast,
Welcome.
David.
This is
So
podcast
is this what normally happens down here, Brett? It's been a while since I've been to your place.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
the den of
the last time David was here, he was helping me drywall the kitchen when we remodeled the kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
Now, back then, you were doing a lot of residential stuff, weren't you?
Yep, I did that for a while. I loved it. I loved every part of it, but I had 4 knee surgeries in a span of about almost 10 years. That kind of just killed that little dream, but I still love design and doing all that. But I don't do that anymore. So I'm now a facilities guy for chief engineer for ABM.
Now, what's ABM?
What are they? All building maintenance.
Oh,
They're
okay.
a nationwide company.
Oh, okay. I got you. So any specific place that you do that, or do you do number of different?
No, I'm typically at a campus.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to say the campus right now, but no, it's a place you know.
Okay.
And I do a couple buildings there, and it's I get paid well, I enjoy it, and then but more importantly, it allows me to hang with the family and play guitar and do all sorts of fun stuff.
So speaking of guitar,
Yo, let's get off that boring shit. No one wants to talk about, hey, what do you do for a living?
wait,
well, I don't know. I do a job I
wait,
sort of like.
We
I don't
kind
know.
of jumped right into this. How did you guys meet here? How did you guys meet?
back in the day,
When Brett had hair.
when I had long hair,
He's still got here.
and so did
Back when there was black and white TV.
yeah, back when we had to walk 16 miles to school,
Uphill both ways.
Right.
8 feet of snow. No, I went to college at St. Cloud State back in 1985, and there's a place on campus. It was called Atwood Community Center. That was for all the kids, you know.
You would remember that.
I do.
Yeah.
You know, because I would get my bagels there every day. They had these soft bagels, and I'd get them every day. And,
Oh, my God. Yep.
you know, I walk in, you know, I'm one of the only long hairs there going to school, and I see another long hair, and we look at each other and do that rocker nod.
Well, I think
Yeah.
you know,
rocker
I
nod.
got there at 87. You're older than I am.
Yeah, I was started in 85, but
Wait, and what you were going to school for what at that time?
I was going for mass communications and screenplay.
In screenplay, and you were going for...
Well, let's not get bogged down into what I was trying to do there.
It didn't work.
Because what you were trying. And what
Well,
you were doing.
no, I mean, you know, I went there. I went to a couple classes. My girls are going to love hearing this. But yeah, I ended up dropping out and I joined a rock band because that's what you do. Because, you know,
That's what you do when you're...
it's a for sure
years
thing. You start here and you just linearly go up here. There's no problems.
And besides that, you didn't have to change your looks because you already looked like a rock star.
Right. I mean, this is just a
Right?
win. I thought this is great. And then
Win-win.
And I think, because I remember I got a phone call from a band. It's like, yeah, we got your number. You know, we're looking for a guitar player. And I'm like, well, I got school and stuff, but I know a person you should probably talk to. And then I gave him.
yeah, that
There's
I-
your
was,
number.
was that I had to drive out to North Dakota for the
I have no
audition
idea.
or something
Maybe.
like that. I had
I
to
don't
borrow a guy's car in the middle of winter, drive 2 hours to some warehouse in the middle of a field, and yeah, that didn't go.
Yeah.
When
But
do you think you can come back?
No.
Come back. We're in North Dakota. No, I'm not coming back.
But yeah, we Dave and I met at St. Cloud State
Forgot
when we
about
were
that.
going to school there. And
You guys have classes together or just passing?
just passing by. And it's
They
like,
did the nod, remember?
you know, the
The nod. Yeah, man. How you doing, baby?
Yeah, how you doing? Then we'd see each other at the bars and stuff like that.
Local
But,
watering
yeah.
hole. Yeah.
And Dave wasn't of age, and I was, and I remember
That was right when Minnesota
crap.
changed the drinking age from
Right.
19 to 21.
Yeah.
right.
And I just missed it by a few months.
So, and I remember Dave's first time at Thirsty Thursday at the red carpet. Do you remember that? The motorcycle ride.
But yeah, my kids are going to listen to this.
So they need to know the truth, Dave.
But we would go to Thirsty Thursday. It was like $4, and you can go to the bar, and they had drinks. But they had bands there though too. So Thursday they would always have like
Oh, it was jam. It was a, you know what? It was a place to be.
Yeah.
That and the press bar. That Thirsty Thursdays. It was what $4 or $5 cover.
Yeah, it's like $4 cover, and then you'd get like drinks from.
And
like,
it was just tits deep, both bars, and loud rock music. It was
Right.
awesome. It was honestly, it was a lot of fun.
and it was, and I mean, you'd have the same band for Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So you know, it had a lot to offer. I mean, it was really cool to be able to walk in there and $5 and listen to music and mingle. And then there was always people like, we're having a house party, and you know, on your way home you'd stop by back to the dorm basically. But yeah, it was a different time back then, and people were a lot happier, and it was a lot cooler, I think.
Red carpet. That's my brother bought me my first cement mixer.
Oh,
My last cement mixer, but my first cement
Your
mixer.
first
Yeah,
and
you're-
last.
Yeah, the first and last.
for
Get two.
anyone who knows what a cement mixer is,
That was
it's
I was mad.
Bailey's with Rose's lime juice. And as soon as it curdles, and
Yuck.
then when you
So it looks
try
the
to
same.
drink
It looks
it,
the
it
same
just-
when you
You're supposed to
barf
shake
up.
it in your mouth, and it
yeah,
just
you
goes.
stick it in your mouth, and then when you start swallowing, it turns into like
Cottage cheese.
Cottage cheese, yeah. It's
Oh
disgusting.
God!
Like
It was a
that was
tougher
the
time.
shot you gave somebody on their birthday.
That's
or
what
you really
that
didn't
is
like.
what it was.
So,
God.
but so yeah, we met up in St.
Happy
Cloud.
birthday to you.
And you guys partied up in St. Cloud at the red carpet and
Red carpet.
That was probably the main two.
the main two. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, that probably was it. Really.
Really,
I wasn't
there's
there.
BB Searles, but
Oh,
we
right.
never really went.
So
there,
Brett
but-
got you to drink.
That's right. Up until
No,
that point,
Is it his fault?
it is his fault. Took me years to kick that. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, Brett.
Now,
You created a monster.
I did.
No,
I think the monster was already there.
I had my own demons I had to work out. So and fortunately I have, but we can get into that a little bit here. But
so when you started doing the band stuff, I remember the one band that was probably pretty predominant was Mad Atchu.
Yeah.
But what were the bands that you went through before you got to something like that, where you got a real pro band?
I mean, I think my first paying gig was when I was 16, and I think it was a band called Full Blown High School.
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry, what do you play?
a guitar.
Guitar?
Yeah.
Okay. Lead, acoustic, lead. What?
Sure.
Yeah.
Not, my main goal here is on stage is to have fun.
Okay.
Genuinely.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you're looking for someone who's going to I wonder if that guy's going to play that song note for note. I'm not that guy.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not that guy. And I'm actually kind of proud of that. I mean, I play it in the hopes of it. If I can make some noise and key, hey, let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
But I mean, there's so many great players out there, and I never had that kind of ear for detail to get that. I enjoy playing guitar as best as I can, and which is probably below everybody else's, but that's fine. But I'm still playing. So here you go.
You're up on stage. That's a
I'm
big
on
step.
stage.
There's a lot
I'm
of people
smiling.
that
I'm having
play.
a great time. It's playing in a band is for me at least. I obviously everybody's got a difference of opinion on how this goes, and Patrick probably knows a billion bands, meeting with 93X and all that kind of crap over the years. I'm sure you've got tons of stories, but for me, and maybe I'm curious if this will resonate with what you've heard over the years, but. For me, I always I like to entertain. I'm a big ham.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I am. I admit that.
Yeah.
And
100% ham.
But I mean,
Did you ever do the hair swirl?
oh for
Oh
sure.
my God.
We were the best.
Coming to class the next day, he's got that pillow around his neck.
Oh God.
David, what?
I didn't probably get into that more until 89, 90. But yeah, absolutely, that was a thing. Everyone
And you got some height on you too. How tall are you?
I'm 6'2".
Oh, geez. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're gonna notice.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
That's when he's standing on his third leg.
Oh yeah.
But Pat, you're falling out. Patrick, you're falling out.
Patrick, you're a little slow there. What's going on?
He's like, oh my God, stop talking. Anyways, but yeah, my point, I don't know. I guess what I was getting to is just that I was just playing music is just a lot of fun for me. And I love, and the one more thing we kind of talk about is that, it's like, people are like, what's your favorite music? I genuinely hate all music. I said,
What?
well, hear me out. When you've been playing as long as I have, and I bet you for a lot of musicians the same way, doesn't matter what song you're going to play, because over time you're going to hate that damn song.
Right.
So it's like
Because you play it so much.
You're playing it so much, and it doesn't really matter. But people are still having fun. So long as people are having fun, and the song works, I'll keep playing it. If a song is something, of course I've got favorites. But I mean, if songs that I like and they don't work, we're not gonna play that. We got.
What kind of music do you mostly play? What genre?
Well, the group I'm in now, there's 7 of us, and this wasn't even meant to be a
7.
Yeah.
So you must have keyboards. Do you have horns?
We track a lot of that stuff.
Okay.
I mean, it's not can't be. No, most people are doing that. I mean,
Now, what's the name of the band?
Verge.
Now,
VergeRocks.com, I think
Right.
is the website.
And you were in pop rocks too. Like that was a big name. I
Yeah,
remember
well,
back in the
okay,
day,
well,
right? Just like a huge fun
No.
cover band.
Well, okay, yep.
But we can talk about Verge first. But I was
No. We go right to pop rocks. It's fine. That was back in 2007. I think I was with them for maybe 7 months, 10 months.
okay.
They were still in the kind of their growing. Almost 20 some years ago. Not quite 18, whatever. When I joined them, and I met Billy on drums. Plays with Arena.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
got good friends with him. Still friends with him. And
I thought Billy fell in the well.
what?
That's where Lassie found him, Billy.
Oh my God.
She's digging deep, isn't she?
I know, right?
Man, okay. All right.
And I don't get paid for this shit either.
I'm stunned. So I went with them for about a year, and they to their point, I mean they've got a good product,
Right.
and they do expect their players to play the stuff note for note, and that's not me. And I was more of a heavy rock guy at the time.
Okay.
That wasn't something I wanted to be a part of.
Right.
No hard feelings. It was fine. We had some good.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was just not for me. There was no chemistry.
Right.
And that was fine. They are a well-oiled machine. They got great players, even to this day. As a matter of fact, we just did a show. This is the humbling experience. We only do about 25 shows a year.
Right.
We're old. We got kids. I have a life. Back when if you're playing any sort of pro gig, you're doing 80 to 100 shows a year. You just are. That's every weekend. Maybe a couple of weekends off, but you're doing a minimum of 80 shows a year. I did that almost my whole life. I don't want to do that anymore.
Sure.
Not that I don't enjoy it, but you're not hanging with. I got little girls at the time. I want to go on the boat with them. I don't want to go play down at some pub where everyone's just hammered and like, play it on. Oh my God. Yeah. Well, here we are.
We grow out of things.
We grow out of things, but right. But I still want to play. And so I stopped playing for a while. And my Matt, my best friend Matt and Brett, we all took our boat and went on a cruise in the Mississippi, St. Croix.
St. Croix, yeah. And then
I do that every year, by the way. And you keep turning me down.
What?
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But
you better.
He asked me right around COVID. I'd stopped playing for a few years, and he's like, "Hey, we're redoing Verge. They were just kind of got together. I played with Matt and Lemon Trophy too for a long time. Oh God, this is just going to be a circle jerk of me just
now with Lemon Trophy. Did Tracy play in that band too?
Yep. Tracy Sprain was a bass player. Great bass player.
Yep.
I mean, that guy has a knack of finding a groove and a pocket that it's pretty intense. And
what's the website again?
I think it's pop. No, fucking.
No. I'm gonna look it up.
Where am I?
The Verge one?
VergeRocks.com.
But now you're saying like with Tracy and
yeah. Okay. So Lemon Trophy started, I don't know, late 90s.
Yeah.
Something. Very late 90s and into the early 2000s. Then Matt joined the group in like 2022. Right. Or I'm sorry, 2002.
Now, did that come out of, what was it, the Little Green Men or something?
I forgot about them.
Yeah. Did Lemon Trophy come out of that, didn't it? Or
yeah, I forgot about Little Green Men. That was a fun band.
So
we were terrible, but it was a fun band.
Yeah, tell me about Little Green Men and how that ended up with you playing with a lot of Lemon Trophy.
Oh my God, I completely
forgot
about Little Green Men. I actually had a lot of fun in that band.
Yeah.
Little Green Men was put together by Steve. Remember Steve from the Iron Horse? Little Steve?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, he put that together.
What year are we talking here?
Mid-90s?
Mid-90s?
Probably
mid to late 90s.
Yep.
Okay.
He put that together. He called me out of the blue. He's like, I got Tracy Sprain on bass. I got Paul Gordhammer on drums. Another great player.
Great player. Yep.
Surprisingly enough, Steve's a really good guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had wow, I completely forgot about this. And we had a female lead singer. She was terrible. And
you have two female singers, right?
we're talking about Little Green Men.
But Little Green Men is like a
okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Different one.
This is ancient history. But it was cool because for stage props we'd get like the little green Martian men and plug them in next to the drum kit, and we'd had. I forgot all about that, dude. Like, how did they wrap that up? Anyways, we parted with her and we stayed on as a 4-piece. I think I sang a bunch. I can't sing, so that was probably a treat for everybody. And then Tracy sang some song. Yeah. And we did that for another year.
Yeah.
After her. But that band was indeed a lot of fun. So it was kind of almost like a jam band.
Right.
In my mind. I know a lot of people can't stand jam bands. And I don't mean like just like this 20-minute jam band thing going on. I don't mean that, but just like it was a little bit more loose, but there was still a pocket. Right. There's still a feel.
A little more garagey.
Right. Yeah. It was a little bit more not so structured. And I love that when I see bands and when they're cooking and they're just laying it down, you're like, oh, you're just like, oh my God.
So you're like a musician's band, musicians that they stand out in front and they're like this going,
No,
You could tell the guitar players because they stand there with their arms crossed.
Typically when I watch a band, I'm like, I just go, God, I suck. That guy's fantastic. That's usually a genuine reaction I have because there's so many great players out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it's great. I never thought that I'm 56. I never thought I'd still be playing at 56 and just having fun. I mean, that's the thing, you know. I'm not trying to write a record. I'm not trying to, you know, think. However, I'm trying to work some songs with my daughters, but that's for us, you know. I just like entertaining people and, you know, making people laugh, you know, having a good time. Life's so serious.
Yeah, back in the day, I was, the 93X guy. I was doing the Loud and Local music show, so I befriended a lot of the bands. I would go see bands. I was always invited to the after parties, of course, because they want me to spin their record and all that. You know, so it was
for
easy
sure.
to make friends. And one of the bands, they had a slower ballad that I was kind of playing on the air, and it was just very basic. I was a drummer in high school, like in the jazz band, but hadn't touched the drum set in like 12 years since graduation. But it was such an easy, just a boom, chick. I'm like, I can fucking play that. And so they were like, oh yeah, you think you wanna? I'm like, yeah, sure. So they actually they had a show at the Caboose. It was packed. And I got up on stage, and all I'd done is air drummed to the song for like 3 days prior. I thought I was gonna fucking
sounds legit.
I actually pulled it off, but when I was up there, I was just like, "Holy shit, this is really fucking cool!" It's like you can't explain it.
It is.
You're playing with dudes that are giving you eye contact. You're looking at the crowd. You got eye contact. There's like a connection thing that you can't explain. And I fucking loved it. And if I was younger, I probably would have kept with drums and tried something out like that. But yeah, it was amazing.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
What you're saying.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Is that you get the instantaneous feedback, whether it's good or bad. I'll be honest. A lot of times it's bad. I mean, you know, not everything's not every gig's awesome. It just isn't. And but when it's a good night, you're feeling it, and you're playing well, and then it's awesome. You have great nights, and that's what keeps you going back. And you're playing these shows, and it's like you're welcome. The staff showed up, like, oh, this is going to be great.
Yeah. And then just that feeling on stage, I actually said to one of them afterwards, like, now I know why you guys play to a room of 5. Like, it's still.
That's why.
Because you still have that. And then you just look at it as a practice, you know, if it's a bomb show.
For sure. And yeah,
still,
it's just.
When you're on stage doing it, it's fun as hell.
Oh, it is. And that just the fact that you're even on stage, period, there's you know.
It's audience energy. A lot of people don't understand audience energy.
Right.
Big deal.
Being in theater, I was in theater. I did a couple plays, and it's like, wow, you go out there and you really can't see much because the lights are coming at you.
Even more so in theater because it's just you. I can hide behind my Les Paul, throw my hair down. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm
then
fine.
All of a sudden it's like a big audience.
You are just by yourself, and everyone's staring at you, going, "Okay, entertain me."
I opened up with a ukulele in a play.
And I remember it because it was at North Hennepin.
Yep, no, Anoka Ramsey.
Anoka Ramsey,
Look Homeward Angel.
And so in a big auditorium, and the place is packed. And Stacy goes, "You guys got to come and see me. I'm doing this play." And we're like, "Play?
A play?"
And we're like going, "Play? You're in a play?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm in a play. Come and see us." And we're like, "Oh, okay." So we're down there. And the place is packed. And it was fantastic. You did such a great job. I was just like, wow, this is actually really cool. I was like blown away. I was like going, I had no idea that Stacy was a good actor. You know?
Have you guys had the chance or, you know, the opportunity to get some tickets, go to the Guthrie and watch them?
Oh, they're great.
Oh, yeah.
They're phenomenal.
Yep.
And if you haven't, anybody out there
Carol.
listening, Patrick, for you and your wife out there, I highly suggest finding what's up and doing that from time to time.
We saw a Christmas Carol there.
Yeah, we've seen it a couple
phenomenal.
times.
Yep,
Now it's
saw that as
phenomenal.
well.
Yeah, it's good. But yeah, you know, the local theaters actually put on great programs. I mean, I'm not kidding. When I saw, and this is what, 30 years ago?
Yeah.
God, at least 30 years ago.
And it's still making an impact. You still think about it.
And I still, because I had no idea. I'm like, a play? And I walked in there and sat down, and there's so many people in this big auditorium. I'm like,
yeah, because
this is not what I expected.
Because you all of a sudden, like after 10 minutes, you feel like you're a part of it.
Yeah, it was great. And then when I worked, I did Tony and Tina's wedding.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah, you know, remember I did that, but I was doing the bartending and part of the catering, the Black family or whatever, the caterers. But that show was fantastic, and I loved working it because it was fun.
How long did that
Well,
How long did that thing
Brett-
run?
It ran like 10 years. They ran
Brett
it into
used
the
to do
ground.
the, yeah, Brett used to do the Renaissance Festival.
Yeah,
He
I did.
suffered
Oh,
wounded
that's
all there for the
right.
summer.
Hey,
Do the
Dude.
Kings. We do
Yeah,
the King
King
stocks
stocks,
where we
yeah.
make fun of people, and it was
This
great.
really
I
is
loved it.
memory lane today, isn't it?
And I,
is.
I remember, I mean, we would get, at like 150 people up there, and then we would do shows, and we'd make a lot of money. The more crimes we would charge them with, and they had these little, I don't know, it was a piece of wood with the crime on it, lecture, and and then we just hang more crimes on them, and we do a longer show for more money.
Pervert and
Yeah, and stuff like that. And it was funny because this lady, and it's dirty and dusty, and this lady's just is trying to quietly get through the crowd.
Oh,
and
is this the one with the
she's
baby
got
carriage?
the baby in her
In the
little
stroller.
stroller, and she's got it covered with a blanket and stuff. In the middle of the show, I stop. I go, "Hey," and she stops, and she's like, "Damn it!" And she looks over, and I go, "What? Your kid's so ugly, you got to cover it up." And the whole place just blew up in laughter. And she was like going, and she looks over and she goes, "I was trying to get through this, but I knew I was going to get messed with." And then we had we call a redneck trap, and we'd take a rope and a noose, and we'd take a little bit of beer and a can of chew, and we go, "You redneck."
You did the stockade one, right? The stockade. Was that the stockade thing?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, we had a lot of fun. I mean, a lot of it was a lot of improv. So you had your basic set of the things that you were going to do, the crimes that you could interchange. So you knew we knew all the crimes, we knew all the the themes and stuff like that. So everything was scripted.
Who was buried in a Y-shaped coffin?
Well, and that's right. That just plays right into you.
Right.
That's why we get along. We all of us generally, we have the same personality type.
Right. So I mean, and it was fun because I could improv on this, and you could go a little bit more, and you would take advantage of great situations that would come up. You would just have to make sure, you just have to know your timing. And out there, your timing was, I mean, always on. I mean, because people were expecting a lot of this funny stuff to happen, and we got
Brett wore a kilt.
And I wore a kilt, and I even had this lady, and I would wear.
And according to Gene, nothing under it.
No, I would wear underwear underneath. But this
He wore a thong.
So
he wore a thong.
So this lady comes up. It's true, but this lady, but I didn't
I'm gonna start
want
drinking
my
if this keeps
manhood hanging out. But this lady comes up and she tries grabbing my kilt, and she goes, "What do you got underneath there?" I go, "Listen, mister." And she goes, "I'm not a mister, I'm a lady." And I looked at her and I go, "Not from where I'm standing." And the place just blows up again, laughter. And she was, I mean, it's like
yeah, but you lifted it up because you were wearing a thong, and you would let her see your butt cheek.
No, like the butt cheek. But you do that stuff. I mean, but the timing was always on at the Renaissance Festival. You just it was just always people
So this is a while. This wasn't last week.
No, this is many years, probably 30 years ago. But it was great. It was a lot of fun. It was a great way to do acting. And then I was in Tony and Tina's wedding, very low scale, but I had a lot of fun doing that, and worked with a lot of great actors and actresses. In fact, if you've ever watched Young Sheldon,
no.
Ever that, yeah.
I mean,
Young
I know
Sheldon,
the show you're talking about. I
right.
just haven't released.
Well, like the Next Door Neighbor, this blonde bombshell Next Door Neighbor. She was with the Minneapolis group,
right on.
Tony and Tina's wedding. She actually worked at TGI Fridays. Her name's Melissa, and she's really kind of hit it big.
She's on a game show now.
And she's got a game show, and she was on Reba, her show, and she's on the newer Reba show.
That sounds vaguely familiar to me. That you
so,
talked about that before.
Yeah. So a lot of great people. Jim Cunningham played Tony for a while, and he's the voice for, I think, the Twins and the hockey, the Minnesota Wild and
right
stuff
on.
like that. And he's fantastic. He's just one of the greatest guys you'll meet. And he does the Feast of Fantasy out at Renaissance Festival, so he does that every year as well.
Did you know Atticus Todd? He did the Renaissance Festival for a long time.
Yeah, yep.
Because he was on Yellowstone. He was the American sheriff on Yellowstone. Yep. So it seems like a lot of people came out of it.
A lot of people. There's a lot of Minneapolis or Minnesota people that have started out on the lower rungs and worked up.
Yeah.
Was it Melissa Cooper? Was that her name?
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, it could be.
Okay. I'm just Googling her.
Yeah, so she's got a game show and she does that. And it's one of the smaller game shows, but yeah. But she great gal. Great people working for that. But, and that goes to showmanship and stuff like that. And when I was watching some of the Verge stuff, it's like it's no different than what you guys do. It's a big show. I mean, holy smokes!
It didn't mean to start that way. So coming back to Verge and just having fun, right?
Right.
So I stopped playing for a while, and Matt, asked me, he's like, "Hey, would you want to come play again?"
They got some pretty cool outfits I saw.
Oh, dude,
I know, right?
It's pretty crazy. It's a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong. And I'm like, well, sure, we'll try it. And we're only gonna play like 25, maybe 30 shows a year, whatever. I'm like, well, that's right up my alley. I'm not interested. Like we talked earlier.
Nope.
I don't want to do 80 to 100 shows. That's just not happening. And it doesn't matter what the money is. I'm just like, I have a life, and that's not happening.
Right.
So, it was just kind of put together for fun. We got Matt on the lead guitar.
Right.
He's the driving force. He's a fun. As you probably know, Matt's a phenomenal guitar player.
Now, and Matt was with Lemon Trophy.
Matt was with Lemon Trophy. That's where
Are we
talking
about Matt Vernon?
This is
a different Matt.
We play well with each other.
Yeah, a different Matt.
Okay.
Matt Recco.
Matt Recco. Matt was in Lemon Trophy, and we kind of grew a bond together in Lemon Trophy, and of course with playing with Trace.
Yeah.
And we play. I compliment his playing really well.
Right.
And so. Kind of a natural progression that they were. Verge was originally just like I think 4 dudes. I think it was Matt, Tom, the other driving force of the band, and then a guy I don't know these guys. I've only met him a couple times. V and Googs, I think, were the drummer and the singer / guitar player. Mm-hmm. They were just doing it for just shits and giggles,
right?
Handful of shows. Can we play a party? Can we do whatever? Is that a dog growling, or
that's
my story that boring?
No, sorry.
That's Murphy. We call him Mr. Grumpy.
I thought it was your stomach.
Yeah, right.
But
so anyway, I'll try to make this a little bit more entertaining. But it was just for fun, right? And so the other guys kind of moved out of state to do jobs, and these guys are all they see full circle. If I would have stayed in college and got my degree,
right.
And then got a professional job and had a career.
So you didn't finish college?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
No, years of bad decision making was laid ahead of me.
Okay, got it.
This charm doesn't come from years of happiness. It comes from years of hurt.
At least you made it to college.
Driving by does not count as made it.
So I'm seeing here, Verge is your most recent band.
Yeah.
And you have Pop Rocks. When was the Aliens one? Was it?
I forgot that it was even on. I forgot.
And
that was actually one of my favorite ones.
I mean, we have a list of bands you were in.
Yeah.
So far, did it get?
Well, I guess you can tell from the list, I put a lot of thought into it. So
what years did you play in Anal Blast?
Anal Blast. Oh, okay. That was 92 to 93.
Buster Hyman and the Penetrators?
Right, yes. I knew the 93 X guy is going to go there.
Is that actually true?
Is
that true?
I don't think we need to explain what this is, but you can just use your imagination. It's folklore for Minneapolis and St. Paul bands.
But it's funny because you were actually in a band called Razor Skirt.
Yes.
And I remember that one.
That's your says. Are these in order?
Sort of.
So full blown.
Yeah, that was
the
high school band, and then that's the band I put together right before I went to college.
Okay.
And then after
when he drove by the college.
Yeah, Sadie.
Right. And then the Sadie's Mirage. That's actually where I met my wife. She knew those. Was she No. She had Bill. She had her son at 20. So
okay.
But we were friends, and she introduced me to those guys. She was a waitress at the Iron Horse.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so she introduced me to the guys in that band, Sadie's Mirage, and I was only with them for a few months. And then good guys. She knows them better than I do as friends. But then I got called to audition for Mad Atchu. It wasn't called Mad Atchu at the time, but just I got called to audition for this band being put together by, what the hell's his name? Pat
Murat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
We had Steve Philbrick on the show, and we were talking about Mad Atchu and and the boys.
I must have missed. I saw parts of that, but I was kind of burning through it.
Yeah.
Anywho, then you've been brought up to speed with him, so we'll just leave it at that. But anyways, I guess where I got to meet Chris, the lead singer. He sings with Hairball now.
Right.
Dan Dryden, I think he's still doing.
Chris Vox.
Yep. And
I know Chris.
Yeah, we're still we're on Facebook friends. We're not getting together or anything, but he's nice enough.
Yeah.
Dan, I really seen Dan
Dryden.
Yeah, Tony and Todd. I haven't talked to in
Todd Litchie.
25 years,
Yeah.
30 years. I haven't seen him.
He got a family and got out.
He's on. Yeah, last I heard, he got married, had kids, and I think last I heard he was running sound. I mean, again, this is like 30-year-old information. 20.
Right.
I don't know, but that's from the everyone seems to be doing good, which is
well,
great.
and that was like what the first kind of real traveling band that you were
back then. So that would have been. I think we went on the road, quote unquote. We're a cover band.
Yeah.
That's
No, but were you, Patrick? When were you with 93X? What years?
97 through 2011.
97. Okay. So back in the early, because I think that kind of stuff stopped by the late 90s.
Right.
In the 80s and in the early 90s, it kind of faded out pretty quick. About 94, I think 93. But cover bands would go on the road, if you will, whatever, to these clubs, and we'd play 5 to 6 nights a week at the same club. You'd either stay at a band house or a hotel.
Yeah.
And that's what you would do. And you'd go out for weeks at a time, come back. And that's how you got tight. You just,
but it's also how they afforded some studio time, because you could make some money doing cover stuff on a weekend in Brainerd.
Yeah. Well, you still
bring
can.
home that cash. And if you were smart, you used it for studio time for your originals.
Yeah. You still can. I mean, bands like way back then, Pretty Boy, Gemini.
Right. Yep.
I mean, those guys were making top dollar. Of course, Slave Raider back then.
Mariah.
Oh yeah.
Raider,
I mean, we could go right down the list.
That was an interesting thing what you're talking about, because when I got to Loud and Local, the local music show in '97, that was like it. And then there was a revolution of American Head Charge and this also national scene blowing up with the aggro rap rock, Linkin Park and Limp Bizkit. So all of that sparked a huge movement in the 93X Loud and Local lane, where there's suddenly 20 bands that sounded like Korn or American Head Charge. And it was
for sure.
Yep.
But up until that, I had no idea the landscape of the local music scene. And luckily, I don't know if you know him, Mike Johnson, he used to drum with Brutus. We called him Hammerhead on the radio. He kind of showed me the ropes and helped me along with the 90s bands. But by the time 2000 came, I didn't need to rely on any of those, because it was just flourishing with the new wave sound.
Oh, and it was a great time. I remember listening to those guys, and I can't name any of the specific, obviously, but I mean, I remember that, and it was time. Things changed, and that's okay,
Yeah.
But when I hooked up with those guys, we went on the road, whatever. We went to Alaska we're going to be there for 22 weeks.
No doubt, really.
I'm going to be there in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm ever going to go back, but so we get to we
I lived up there for 5 months once, so
okay. Well, we went to Sitka, Alaska first.
Okay,
Sitka, Alaska is where they filmed The Deadliest Catch. Now,
yep.
Okay, at the time when we went up there, I was just 21, so that would have been 89.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there was 14 miles of tarred road on the island at that time. I don't know, they don't go there anymore. I don't know how much they've built it more or not, but we get into this place. I mean, it takes us, we have to drive from, we went out and bought a 22-foot box rider truck.
Yeah.
And put all our band gear in there. Everyone went to my mom and dad's house. We had everything loaded up. Bye, Mom. Bye, Dad. And we get about, 10 minutes down the road, the rider truck we bought blew up.
Oh, jeez.
10 minutes down the road?
Literally.
Luckily, it was 10 minutes.
Yeah. So we bought it from a rider, or dealer. So they gave us a different truck.
Mm-hmm.
So reload, unload, out we go. God. And then we drive, all the way, that long drive through Montana up to Canada. We go to Prince Rupert.
Yep.
I think is where we get on these ocean-going ferry. Now we get on the ferry. Ferry. What the hell's a ferry? Good God, man! The warship shows up and we drive these big trucks right on there.
Yep.
And that was a 3-day cruise to get to Sitka.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. No, you think it's like, it's a couple hours to be there. No, 3 days. Days.
So you went on a cruise?
When I got my
With
job,
no money.
With no money.
When I lived up there, I got my job and we left Seattle, and it took 11 days to get to where we were going on a boat.
Right?
Yeah.
So you
we actually stopped at Prince Rupert, and it was awesome though. Like the great part about that part of the world is you could drop a line in the water and you will catch a 30-pound salmon. And so we were eating like kangs, man. It was awesome. But
okay, your experience is entirely different than mine.
Now, when you were on the cruise, where did you sleep for 3 days?
You would sleep. We didn't have.
You're like the Irish in the bottom of the Titanic.
So did you?
No,
you
slept on chairs. You slept on the like reclining type chairs. Just the not deck. We were covered. Obviously, it was cold.
That sounds great.
But at that time, and not having the internet to check, like, is this a good idea? Oh no, that's not a good idea. It was a great adventure. I got some great stories, which you're going to be bored with right now.
Did you see the Northern Lights?
I have, but it's been a long time since I've seen them. So we get okay. We're on Sitka. It was focus team. Focus. We're 3 days in on this boat. We get to Sitka. We unpack. We go to this bar. It's called Kiksadi. It's the Kiksadi bar in Sitka, and it's owned by this 80-year-old lady named Frankie, and she's about yonder hooven tall. I mean, if she's 4'10", I'm stunned, and she is just straight out of the frontier, and she jumps up on one of our road cases and tells us how it's going to be.
You cocksuckers need to get loaded by 4. I ain't having you in this bitch.
Dude, you're not that far off. And
I just went to Deadwood, that show Deadwood. That's how I talk.
It's not that far. She's just like blah blah blah. We played Tuesday through Sunday. We had Mondays off. Sunday was jam night, and what it was is the fishing trawlers would come in, and all these fishermen would come in, and drink and want to party and they want to jam.
Yeah.
Now, these dudes are hardcore drinkers, and these dudes have been on a boat for months, years. These guys are freaking ripped.
So you look really pretty with your long hair.
And like 40 grand in their pocket.
Now are they playing on your equipment? I'm assuming.
Oh yeah.
Oh great.
So, oh man, I could fill this whole thing up with this story. I'm going to try to wrap this up. Dan Dryden actually talked about this on one of his podcasts. You're going to have to look it up, but it's a lot. I'll get to the gist of it. So we're going to be in that place for 10 weeks. And then we're supposed to go like Juneau. It turns out that you can't play in Alaska at the time. Everyone in that band had to be 21.
Right.
And at that time, Chris was only 20. And, I think Todd was also 20. That doesn't matter, but I know for sure Chris wasn't old enough.
Well, you're gonna get alcohol no matter what, anyway.
That wasn't the issue.
The issue was
you're on the road in a band. That's never the issue. Yeah. So, but we couldn't. They canceled the other shows. So we were supposed to be there for 10 weeks. We were to go someplace else for 5 or 6 weeks, and we're going to do it. The whole thing was supposed to be 22 weeks long. We're going to be up there. We can only stay up there for 10 weeks. Well, we hated it. They hated us because we were a hardcore rock band.
Right.
And that's not what they wanted, at least in Sitka. And so we got paid $100 a week. The band members did.
Yeah.
And so how do you live on $100 a week, Dave? Well, I'll tell you. You go to the grocery store when you get your $100 and you get a carton of generic cigarettes, because back then everybody smoked. And that was like, back then, like what, $8, $9 or $10 or something like that? For
yeah.
a carton.
Yeah.
And then you get a box of ramen noodles,
yeah.
a case of ramen noodles.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're really going to blow the wad, so to speak, you might get some bread and maybe some cheese or whatever like that. So obviously we're all losing weight. The drinks are on the house. So, we stayed hydrated. So
you asking for pickles and lemons and limes in your drinks so you can have something to eat. Well,
they had this thing called the bullshitter up there.
Can I have some pickle juice, please?
Right. They put Everclear, a shot of Everclear into one of their crappy beers. Was it Rainier or whatever?
Oh yeah.
And they junked that.
Rainier, yeah.
You'd throw that down. You have these bullshitters. Well, you're whipping down Everclear.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Doesn't take too many.
Yeah.
So
don't light that cigarette after you.
We had some. We did have some nice time. There was nice people that would take the band and their mom and dad would feed us and stuff. Right. It wasn't like it was just this whole thing. 90% of it sucked, but there was some fun stuff for sure. But then there was a lot of fighting, and then Dan, bullshitters and Everclear, he'd get a little feisty. And
Dan feisty? No.
Yeah, Dan feisty.
Dan would get feisty.
He'd get a little feisty, and then some fights happened, and then he punched a guy, pretty solid. I got to give it to him. And then turns out this guy, his name in the area was he's Chopper. He's broken so many jaws or whatever. Blah blah blah. I'm like, oh God, here we go. And then the next few weeks of shows were on the Sunday when he'd come in because he's on the fishing trawler. They'd be just chasing Dan around the bar on breaks, trying to get him at the end of the night. Oh. It was awesome. No. So we made a decision that we got to get the hell out of here. We went to the police. We're like, hey, can we hire some off-duty guys to come down, be our bodyguards? This is getting out of hand. I'm not making this up. There's plenty of
no video though.
There's no right.
Yeah.
If you know Chris, ask Chris about Alaska with Matt Atchu. If you find Dan thing, anywho. They're like, no, we don't go in there. That place is way too dangerous. I'm like, yeah, we know. We had people take drinks.
Don't go there either.
Yeah, people would take drinks. And they poured on our lighting console. Or
Gorman was there. That's why.
Right.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, it just got out of hand. So we stopped paying ourselves $100 a week.
Yay.
So, which leads to my next story real quick, but I'll finish that one. But so we're not paying ourselves. We're just like, we got to save. We figured it would take like 2 weeks to get the money. We weren't sending in the commissions. We weren't sending the management commissions. We weren't sending in all the.
Right.
We're just taking the lump sum. We were holding it. We bought our own tickets to get the fuck out of there.
And get back home
on New Year's Day, 1989 into 90. That's their big bar. But before we got to that point, there's no food, right?
Right.
So we're upstairs in the band house, which is just think dumpster fire. And I look on top of the fridge and I see this old loaf of bread up there. It's kind of just like a couple of old, the butt pieces. And I grab it. I grab some salt. I salt that baby up. I just kind of start eating it. And I walk into the living room, whatever we ever had this, we were all hanging out.
It wasn't.
Dan
bread.
looks at me, she's like, what are you eating? I'm like, salt sandwich. He just goes in there. So there we are. We're just eating salt sandwiches on this stale ass bread because that was it, man. There was no more.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, I never told you that.
What's your 20? You're 20.
I heard about.
I would have been 21.
Yeah.
21. That's awesome though that you had the gumption to be able to. So hard for kids these days that are even 18, 19, 20, whatever, to get out and go on an adventure, and that's awesome.
Regrettably, I'm not done here.
Here we go.
We just started.
I know this is gonna. I'm sorry, this is taking up some.
No. That's we want to hear. Give us more juice.
Okay, we don't pay each other for a couple of weeks. We take all the money and we have to buy our own ticket. For the ferry to get it from back to Prince Rupert.
Yep.
I forget the price, but it was about the cost of what we were getting paid that time for about 2 weeks' pay. So
wow,
couple few $1,000s, whatever it was.
Yep.
Back in '89, and we bought the tickets, and then on New Year's Eve day, 1989 into 90. I'm pretty sure that was the right 89. It's either 89 or 90, but I'm pretty sure it was 89. And we told Frankie, little troll that we're out of here. We're loading up our stuff. She freaked out, locked all the doors, couldn't get in the club. We call the police. Police come. This is in the morning now, right? This New Year's Eve day. This is their day. This is where they're going to make the big money because everyone's coming in from the fleet.
Yep.
And both back and forth. And the cops telling each other, it's like, Frankie, this is like a bad divorce. That's their gear. They get to keep it. And she's like, we're talking thousands of dollars of profit for me, blah, 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 blah. And we're like, you've cost us thousands of dollars in gear damage. We have to replace all this shit. And there's more back and forth. Dan and Chris probably have a better memory of the whole thing. I might have been having some bullshitters at the time. But anyway, we finally get permission and they watch us and we load out. And as we're loading out into our trucks, now we've been there for 10 weeks. So we're just throwing things in.
You're pissed. You want to get out of here.
Pissed. We're scared to death. We are not. This is not like we're going to. We are absolutely frightened right now. All of us. Don't. There. None of them. Don't let them kid you. We're all like, we gotta get the hell out of here. We're 5 skinny, super skinny guys at this point because we haven't eaten.
Yeah, you're eating the ramen.
Right. But people who are extremely upset with us. And trucks started circling us when we were loading out.
What?
Oh, yeah. And then we finally get down to the harbor and we get on the ship. And they shut the door and we just sit there and we're like, did this even happen?
Yeah, that's
right?
That's scary, yeah.
So we leave. We disembark. Boom. Storm came up.
Oh, no. Oh my God.
Something like that. We docked back there like either that same day or the next freaking day. Maybe it was something like that. And so there we are. We're like, oh, we're back here. And then some of the people who were nice to us came on the ship and we talked about it, and just like, how you guys doing? Whatever. Finally, so there's more to whatever, but we gotta move on. So
yeah,
but the ship is right. The ship is not going to go straight back to Prince Rupert. It's making its rounds. It goes up to Juneau.
Yeah,
and that's also a very small town. And these ships are huge. It docks, and now it's the.
How's that a small town? Juneau is the capital.
Okay, what?
It's still Alaska.
It's Alaska, but it's still small.
Not a lot of room there.
What's your point?
Surrounded by glaciers and mountains. So.
I don't have one.
So we get off and we have to switch ships or something. So we pull off. So something happened. We had to get a hotel. Maybe it was Tony and I were the only ones that were 21. I think that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Tony and I were the only ones. Everyone else was 20.
Yeah.
So we got a hotel. And then Tony and I, since we were the ones of age, we bought them a bunch of beer. Because, that's what you
could.
Because we could. And then him and I went to the bar.
Yeah.
And so we just sat there.
You guys have this.
Well, I mean, it wasn't like, we just sat at the bar. We're just like, what, we're still trying to take this all in. We're sitting there at the bar. I think we had just gotten some drinks. And everyone knows who we are because it's a small town.
Yep.
Everyone knows what's going on. They see these long hair guys. So what had happened is dipshits got all hammered in the hotel and we started fighting and they weren't fighting, but all-star wrestling back in the day.
Yeah.
And made this huge commotion. And the lady called the cops. Well, so the cops walked down there, both of them.
From the bar.
Who bought this alcohol?
I think they were still wearing their civilian clothes. They get the boys, walk them to the police station, and book them. And then while they're taking their pictures, this is back with Polaroids. They take Dan's picture as a Polaroid. He steals it. I think he still has it to this day. So
the caper of the missing photo.
This is so fantastic. I know you guys think I'm crazy, but this actually happened. And it's actually probably way worse than I'm remembering. So Tony and I are sitting there having our drinks, and the bartender comes up and is like, "Hey, your buddy's just got arrested at the hotel." Yeah. Like, what? How'd you know we were staying there? Because we're young. Yeah. We're young and idiots.
Yeah.
How'd you know we're staying? Well, everyone knows who you guys are. I mean, that's big news. You guys left Kicksadi, you left Sitka, Alaska. I'm like, oh my God. So we too also had to walk there, and we had to bail them out.
Oh God.
So they do take minor age drinking seriously up there. Back.
Who bought you this alcohol?
I'm sure they don't take it seriously, but they take it seriously when you're out of town wrecking a
so
hotel.
it's not like we just got to leave hunky dory.
Right.
We had to wait. We had to, not Tony and I, but the boys had to go to court the next day.
Yeah.
And basically the judge, he's kind of gave him the what for about it, and like, guys, get the hell out of my city. Believe me, we're trying to get out of here.
We've been trying for the last 10 weeks.
Oh God. So we get back to Prince Rupert finally, and there's more. I might have some of the timeline mixed up there with how we went back to Sitka.
Ever since we met Cheeky, what was his name? Who was the guy that was fighting? The fighter, the fisherman?
Oh, Chopper?
Chopper. Yeah, ever since Chopper.
My name's Chopper. I'm broken more jaws than everybody else.
Well, if Dan punched him flat in the face, he's probably missing those choppers.
Oh God. Dan was a big boy.
Dude. He was a big boy.
He was my size, but he had a lot of muscle on him. Anyhow, we get back to Prince Rupert, and then during that trip, I changed the spark plugs in our 30-year-old van with no heat, and in the garage of the ship as we're moving, and I got the spark plug wires mixed up.
Oh no!
Which comes into play later.
Spark plugs
sooner than you think. It's dark. I'm not a mechanic. I know what we need to service this thing, right?
Yeah.
And I don't even know how we thought about doing that. Probably Todd's dad's like, you guys got to service that thing or you're not going to make it home. And we get off, we go up, and now it's the first week of January, and it's 30 below because it's Canada, right? Yeah. And we're going through the Canadian Rockies to get down to Montana. And we get maybe a couple miles in the truck, and the van's not right. But it dawned on me, I'm like, I let those two cables so the guys go to the hotel, they're making phone call, pay phone, doot, 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 they accept charges.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyone younger than 40, you used to have pay phones and you had to get a collect call.
Mom,
I need money. So I get and that's what it was. And the van started firing up. But there was no heat in that thing. So I just wrapped myself up. The two of us ended up driving. Everybody else just cuddled together.
Yeah.
So you had a lot of bonding.
We're wearing. I've got every piece of clothing I have on me. I just wrapped up, and poof. We'd put a drink down on.
You guys snuggled.
Hey, you know what? A man's got to do what a man's got to do.
So
wait, you put a drink down on the console you're driving, and you pick it up about 10, 15 minutes later, it'd be frozen.
Oh Jesus!
Just like those outdoor Vikings games, right?
Yeah. Right. So we were just chain smoking because that was the only thing you could do to kind of keep warm.
Heat up the inside.
Oh God, it was awful. We get to, I'll never forget it. We get through it. It was lost. There's more stories to that. We ran out of gas, blah, 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 blah. I think that was on the way up actually, but there's all sorts of other stories I'm missing. It could go on forever. It's just best to move on. And so we get to Bozeman, Montana.
Yeah.
And we're all at this point now, like, what are we doing? This is just the most crazy, bizarro event I've ever been through.
Right.
And we set up. We don't know, and it's cowboy town. It's Bozeman, Montana, right?
Right.
And there's this bar. I forget the name of it. I'm sure one of the boys might remember it, but it looked to me like there's gonna be nobody there. It's like, here we go, playing to nobody. And we go back to the hotel, come back, and it's pits deep. And what we didn't realize about what had happened to us is in that 10-week span is that we gotten so tight.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain to your daughters what tits deep means?
Wow.
Thanks.
Wow.
Yeah, they know. They've heard. That's a phrase I say regularly.
That's a Gorman phrase.
So what I mean though, but the band was really tight, and it was a machine show. And that was probably what kept us going after that. Was that specific show in my mind, because we could almost pretended like we were rock stars at least for a couple of hours.
Right.
So get back in that cold van. I keep driving back to Minneapolis. All right, so that's
what a great story. What a
there's more, but
it's awesome.
You should write all these down and make a book.
I don't. Dan did a great job. I should have thought about that and give the link, but he's got a pretty good podcast on it for whatever he did it a while ago.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. But
sorry for Brett reaching into the recesses of your packed away.
Well, I didn't. I
you wanted to forget.
Wanted to forget that forever.
It's funny when I was thinking about coming here. I'm like, all right, what the hell are we going to talk about for 2 hours? I don't think I've talked to anybody for 2 hours. Like, what do you want?
Are you going to play for us?
So, no, I'd rather not. But I mean, I can if you want me to. But
oh yeah.
Anyway, so after that, then Mad Atchu, whatever. We did that for a while, and then that's when I think I joined Spank after that.
Yep.
And that was a lot of fun. Most of these bands I've been in have always usually been pretty fun.
So how long were you in these bands? So this last band that you were
the road band there at Mad Atchu, that was about 4 years, I think.
Okay.
I think that was somewhere around. I think our last show was around 93, I think.
Did you guys do an album?
We did record an album. Oh God, another catastrophic story. So Pat Morat, the one-legged wonder, sent us down to Texas, Houston, to have this guy record us. The guy who had done, oh God, oh my God, who were they? Some nobody band from the 70s. Yeah, he's gonna record your band. It's like we save up money. Like we said, Patrick gets it, So we go down there in Houston. That's its own story again, but we'll move on because there's a lot to go. We record it, and we're having fun. I mean, whatever. We can't wait to hear it, right?
Yeah.
So we get the tape finally when we were in, Indiana, I think, or Illinois, whatever. Doesn't matter. We're a long way from home, and they get this tape gets couriered to us,
right?
And we're there at the club, and the DJ's like, man, everyone wants to hear the originals. Because we've been playing, at that point, we were doing a full original second set, which was pretty common for cover bands. You play the 3 1-hour sets of your dance or your rock, and you start working in covers. And if people seem to be receptive, then you kind of like, the second set's typically your...
Yeah, they're drunk enough by that point to think that you're good.
Well, noted. But yeah, I mean, because the first set, people at the time, no one really get there. Second set, you play your originals, and people, were pretty receptive. And then third set, they want to dance and they want to meet people and things. And so that's typically what we did way back then. So with this club, we get this tape in the mail, and they put it in, and it's all muddy.
Oh no!
Just dude,
no.
That was thousands of dollars. What happened? And apparently he screwed it up, and he's just like, sorry. So then we had to go save up more money again, and then take a small loan or something like that. And then we went to Royal Recorders in Wisconsin. Well, that was a real recording place,
right?
That was where, legit record company bands went.
I think Anal Blast recorded there.
Yeah.
Anal Blast for sure.
Oh, I love that name.
It was a real place. It was a real place, and we that's where we recorded that tape. But back then, CDs were just kind of coming out, but not really. And then that's when I think everything kind of just fell apart, as things do. I mean, you got about a window of about 3-4 years, and
so how do they fall apart? I mean, you've been in a lot of bands. Right? How do they end? Do they just end?
Drugs,
they stop?
alcohol, women.
Yeah, all the
In that
above.
order, I think.
But I think, you mean when you first
how many Eskimo brothers you got in town? That's what I
when you first go out, everyone's telling stories, right? And on these long drives, you're always talking. By the end, there's no talking. Everyone's just reading books. I mean, that's kind of where you're at. You're just we know everything about each other. We're all trauma bonded by this incredible experience that we went through. We're all trauma bonded by it to this day. And even though I haven't seen any of those guys in years and years and years and years, we could see them, and we would probably start up right where we left off. It wouldn't be that big of a stretch, other than catching up. Like, how many kids you got?
Yeah.
So. I think what people
do they end overnight, or do they take time?
I think money becomes an issue too. I mean, at some point, you want to make money. I mean, here you are now. I'm a young man. I'm in my 20s, and I always wanted to be married and have kids. That was always something that was a priority of things. So
that was your goal. That's why.
Well, I mean, I want to be. You want to play.
Yeah.
But what's the end game? If there's no end game,
sure.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, if now the end game here with Verge, if we're just having fun and we're only playing 25 shows, who cares?
Yep.
It's just fun. If we have a great crowd one night, hey, that's awesome. If no one comes next, well, shit happens. We're not going to compete with somebody who's playing 150 shows a year. That ain't happening.
No.
Right.
Yep.
And even though the show, yes, to Gene's point, is extravagant, we got big video walls and screens and costumes. Oh yeah, we're having fun, and we're old. We can do that because we're old. And
but
that's Tom and Matt. That's their driving force. They're putting a lot of money into it. But they're able to do that.
Right. But I mean, but nowadays it's not like back then people wanted the music. Now they want a show. So I mean,
right.
And it looks good. I mean, you guys put on a really good show.
Thanks. Yeah. No, it's we're having fun. And I mean, I still get to dress up like a goofball.
Nice catch.
Very nice.
In front of the special education teacher, even. Jesus, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good, everybody.
That's for my daughters. I've been listening.
Oh, it wasn't for the special education teacher?
No. Yeah. That, okay, yes. Look at the time. I'll see myself out.
So then, I mean, when you moved on with Spank, how long were you in Spank then?
I mean, how long did you get spanked?
Yeah, you got
that was band. I was playing. That was with Johnny Holiday, who I think is playing with. I gotta forget who they're playing with now. That doesn't matter, but and some other good players, and that lasted maybe like in a cover band. If you get a couple of years, that's pretty good.
Sure,
really, because. The music tastes get into the play after a while. It's like, I never get to pick my songs. Well, your song choices suck, dude.
Yeah.
And, and mine included. No, that's fair. Did you see the video I made of how Verge picks songs? Matt hates it that I did that to him. But I think it's hilarious as hell. So, Patrick, you got to find that on it's a short, or just text it to him because it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I made a video. I made a little 45-second thing. How Verge picks songs. I don't speak. It's just me, and it's pretty. I made it as a tongue in cheek. And Matt, I love you, brother. You know that you're my best friend. It was really funny. And so we just have fun.
Right.
But you get in a cover band, that's usually what happens. You're just getting tired. If there's no change. You're not growing, you just get tired.
Yep.
And you move on. Because it's just you're not attached to it because it's not your tunes.
Yep.
Which is fine. Again, I hate all music. Doesn't matter. Here's the songs we're gonna play. Okay. Mm-hmm. Can you sing them? Oh, okay. Well, let's do it. And if they go over, I'm on board. The gang we're playing with now. I mean, Matt's a great singer, great guitar player. Yep. We got a great lead singer, Cherry. We got a couple of goofballs, Bob and Tom. Tom's, he owns the band. Mm-hmm. And he's just like a kid, man. He loves playing. He's big, smile on his face. He's jumping around. It's like, and people think like, oh, blah, blah. It's like, Tom's genuinely having a great time. And I think it's I'd be a hypocrite if I wouldn't support it. I get it. I'm having a great time too, but I give each of them grief. They give me grief back too, as they should. Right. Sean, our drummer, he puts up with all this stuff, where, hey, can you play with a click track all night? I don't want to. And click. Here we go. So, so if we don't take ourselves that seriously, we're having a good time.
At our age,
and I still get to friggin' play.
Yeah, that's what we gotta do.
Right.
It's just make it up and have fun and fuck the rest.
And
right.
I'm working on some songs with my kids. Good. I mean, this is.
So your kids. So you have two daughters. You said 17 and 19.
Yep.
And you have a son that's how old?
36.
36. Okay.
Yep, he's
so
my stepson. But he's my son.
Yep. He's your son. Yep.
And I got two grandkids. So I'm Grandpa Dave.
So that's your stepsons or your sons.
Yep.
Kids.
Yep.
Okay. And how old are they?
The kids are 7 and 5.
7 and
so
5.
They're he's in.
You love that, don't you?
Oh my god, dude. Being a grandpa is amazing. So when they were little, they come, oh yeah, you need to find your mom and maybe or grandma because she needs to change her diaper. Because I at the time when our girls were in that age, I changed a lot of their diapers because my business at that point had died.
Yeah.
And so I was home. So I'm like, well, this is it. And I love that time frame. Those.
And your daughters babysit a lot, I'm sure.
Pardon me?
And your daughters babysit the grandkids a lot.
They have. I mean, Bill lives about a half hour away.
Oh, okay.
And the girls, they're busy. I mean, we made them get jobs when they were 15.
Okay.
14, 15. Good. Yeah, because she made Yaya get a job at 15, and Vivian's like, I want a job. She's 14. She worked at the pizza place. So now they work at clothing stores. They dress to the night. They're fabulous dressers. So I'm so proud of my girls. They speak a couple languages. It's just my oldest is getting ready to go to Spain for fall semester.
Awesome, yeah.
And so my personal life is in order, and a lot of that, I guess we can touch on it because a lot of it, you talk about bands and why they break up, drinking and things. It's like I gave up booze 4 years ago.
Okay.
And
Pussy.
And it's
oh wow.
No, whatever.
Good for you. Good for you.
I did it for.
I had an 8-year sobriety thing. I went to AA. I did the whole thing, So I'm just
8 years.
Like I'm on.
Oh, let me.
Yeah,
I'm going to come back to that. I do have some.
Yeah.
I have some questions for myself. I'm just curious. So, for me, I was getting health issues. My blood pressure was just spiking out. Had to figure things out.
I got to say, you got heavy.
Yeah.
When I saw you, I mean, it's like, wow, dude.
Yeah, it was 270.
Yeah, dude.
So, and you can post those pictures at the end of the video if you want. I don't care. Because in my opinion, people, because like this is what happens if you quit drinking.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I have pictures I gave Brett. Maybe he'll post them or not. But we're on. Matt and I are on stage.
I'll post anything you want me to post.
I'm totally cool. Everything I sent you, dude, I'm totally cool with.
All right.
Or if
you're kind of just like, Tommy want wingy. Did you get that?
Dude, pretty much. Well, I'm wearing I'm wearing a ridiculous outfit, but that's what I do. And then, but Matt and I, he had just quit drinking, and I was still drinking in this picture.
Yep.
And
so, are you wearing a girdle?
No. They don't make the moo-moos that big. So, I have another picture that I sent to Brett 2 years to the day, damn near, and almost at this. I think it's the same club. We're doing a charity show.
Yep.
If I recall. And at that point, I've been dry for 2 years, and Matt had been dry for 2.5, 3 years, and we de-aged. I look like we look like we were in our 40s. Our face, we have lost so much weight, and then things. So health reasons, I quit drinking. My productivity went up. My personal relationships got better. Money, my career got better. I mean, all of these things, my playing in the band, I only played in the band when I was drinking, maybe I don't even think it was a full summer. But I mean, I wasn't playing very well.
Good for you. That's awesome.
It is awesome.
Well, I appreciate that. So I just, and people who know me are like, Dave quit drinking? Yeah, no. So it's a thing and it can be done. And it was the best thing I ever did. I have no desire to. I'm 4 years in now, so I don't even think about it.
Wow.
Sure.
And it doesn't bother me being around it. I make drinks for my wife.
Jesus drank wine.
Jesus did drink wine.
Well, he made wine.
And he actually made it.
Oh yeah.
It was a fun.
What?
So Patrick, I have a question. So
Sure.
I mean, 8 years,
Yeah.
dude. I mean, what? Completely dry.
Yeah, I did the steps. I was sponsoring guys. I was, I did the whole
What made
thing,
you?
man.
I'm just curious for my own self, my own journey. What made you think? I mean, to go back. For me, like quitting smoking, I took me a long time to quit smoking. I did that 17 years ago, right?
Yeah.
I couldn't dance
That
with
was
that.
the worst.
And that's how I learned for booze. I couldn't dance with the devil with it. Like, well, I'll just have one on the weekend. No, I want it all the time.
Yeah.
So how do you balance that?
So I started in 2007. I just got into partying. like I was just a party animal.
Sure.
And I had to work like every other Saturday at 93X from like 1 to 6 p.m., like a big 5-hour shift. And there was a couple Saturdays in a row where I was still up at 1 p.m. And I was like, if I call in sick, I'll be in trouble. If I go in hammered, I'm going to get fired. So I was kind of a pain in the ass at that point for my boss. And then I just kind of realized, like, dude, if you can't even make it to work on a Saturday at 1 p.m., you've got issues. And another friend of mine who was a lead singer of a band, he had gotten into like alcohol and meth and went and got himself cleaned up, and he was doing great. So I called him all crying and shit on a Saturday. I was like, I just had to call. He's like, dude, maybe you're fucking alcoholic. Why don't you go to a meeting tonight? I was like, okay. So I did. So yeah, that was October 21st, 2007. So I went and I did it. And then how it evolved was I was fine. Like you, I did things better. Everything just was better. I didn't have a care in the world about it. I could be around it. Not an issue. So how it evolved, though, where it was in like 2016, I was like, I'd like to have a Guinness. So I had a Guinness, and it was fine. But we're going to start getting into really personal issues. But let me just put it this way. In 2018, I had been going to therapy, and I got prescribed medicine for PTSD and anxiety. And so in AA, the reason that you drink to excess or, become addicted or whatever, their explanation is you have a spiritual condition. You're not connected to God or higher power. So that's why that's the source of it. And how I understand it now is when I had the medication and the therapy, I kind of solved some of those issues to where I kind of don't have to drink as much as I used to, or I don't want to. And actually, you just get old, and you just being hungover sucks.
So when you went through this kind of the therapy and stuff, and then you started drinking again, you just had a different outlook on how to do it. Your behavior changed. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yes. So for me, it was a realization that I had undealt with trauma and issues in my life. And once I talked through those and I got the medication, it brought me down to a different level to where I had a decision I could stop, or I don't drink every day like I used to. I don't, I have kids. So it's Saturday night where I am, and I just dropped them off a couple hours ago. And Saturday nights is I'm going to drink and do the podcast. So that's what I do. And it's, that's fine. I don't drink on nights I have to work because, like I said, you got to get up at 7 a.m. and you're hungry.
Yeah. And that's that's like the same for me. Cause like when I, have to get up at 4:00 in the morning and I have to be a professional and carry things on me that can be deadly. I don't drink at all during the days that I work. Never.
Yeah.
Hey, Patrick, I think that's absolutely phenomenal that you were able to, you don't have to share it, but the fact that you were able to get through to whatever that personal demon was that you had, because I think that's where we all kind of have to figure out for us what that is.
That's usually the thing is that demon that you have to get over.
Yeah, it's the root of the problem. Like the alcoholism, that's how you treat it. That's your solution. Right. So if you deal with the demon, then your alcohol doesn't have to be the solution anymore. You could take it or leave it. And that's one of those things. I don't think they even call it alcohol. It's more of it's either alcohol abuse disorder or substance abuse disorder, something what they're calling it now. But it's the same 70s mentality when they made alcoholism. There's part of that too, where it was like insurance companies and the like could start, is it a disease? I don't know. I don't want to define it, but for me, that's what works for me. And
well, it's funny. Patrick, it's not.
I can take it or leave it now,
Right.
Yeah.
That's not the disease. It's the problem that you have in your head or the trauma that you went through for whatever reason. Your normal life is not happy, that you need to mask it for whatever reason it might be. And that, alcohol, drugs, or whatever it is like, I feel this way. I want to feel better. And so you do those things to make you feel better. But if you can live life and you're happy and you're great, you know, and you don't need anything, you know, or a glass of wine every once in a while or whatever, that's
you know, I kind of joke like I'm Bert Kreischer. I can keep my shit together for a little bit, but you know, I'll have an outburst every now and then where I have a weekend off and I'll get fucking shitty. I mean, that still happens, but it's like, you know, it's not, it doesn't run my life, and I have the decisions to make, you know, decent decisions, you know, when and where I should be doing this kind of thing. But I've always liked drinking. I've liked the social aspect of it.
It relaxes you. It makes you, you know, it brings you down a notch a little bit.
That's why
it is an awesome thing.
Yeah.
That's why we're at the bar.
That's why we're at the bar.
And for me, I'm in Sacramento. I moved here, you know, 14 years ago. I got divorced. I don't have a lot of friends here. You know, it's been hard to make friends here. So
is that because you're in your room on a podcast on a Saturday night?
Yeah, and my Coke dealer's out of town too.
Thank you very much.
Go
back to the 8 o'clock show here. There'll be a little blue.
And a kiss shirt on.
His Coke dealer comes up with a 12-pack.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. It's like zero sugar.
Is that the zero Coke? So, I mean,
yeah.
No, dude, I think that's awesome because you've got the main thing is to be able to recognize what's happening, and I think that's what I think most people are in denial of.
I'm not trying to set an example. If you've got an issue, you can snap out of it with some medication and therapy. But that's what I do.
No, yeah,
my story.
We all have our personal reason. For me, it was, you know, basically what I just talked about. My health was becoming an issue, and I wanted to make sure I could walk down the aisle with my girls at some point to their weddings,
right.
and I didn't want them to remember me as the guy on the couch who comes home from work at 3-4 in the afternoon and drinks till 10.
Were you the drinker to get drunk? I need to get drunk because I had this discussion with my friends, you know, and it's like they always wanted to. I want to get drunk. It's like I just like beer.
I'm not a big beer guy because I've got celiac. So the beer always doesn't sit well with me.
He likes wine.
So I do what every alcoholic does. Is that I'll switch to wine, so I'm not pouring down a 3-finger drink of vodka, you know. And so I was just constantly having always a drink in my hand all the time, and of course, you know, Matt and I would find occasion to, you know, maybe football Sunday or whatever. But so it was when I recognized that not only could it for me personally, when I recognized that I'm the problem for me, and I had my why had to be big enough to get through this.
Sure.
Because it was a scary thing to face. Like I've got a drink every day of my life for 30, 40 years.
Yep.
And, you know, and so it was a big, you know, can I even do it? Just, you know, it's kind of like when I quit smoking, I didn't know the car could start.
Sure.
Without a cigarette in my mouth.
Well, yeah, you exactly, yeah. Well, you know, as we get older, obviously the physiological effects are very predominant, and you feel it more. But you know, it's funny with alcohol because I've noticed this as a bouncer and going through all of this stuff. That's why I don't drink hard alcohol very much. Every once in a while, I'll have a little sip of something, but if I get intoxicated on hard alcohol, that just changes my personality, and I don't like that. I don't like who I am when I'm intoxicated.
Neither did I.
And you guys attest that. Yeah. You guys seen me drinking a lot, and I might get a little bit silly, but it's about it. But I've had friends like you were talking about your other friend that
they get a little feisty.
They get feisty, and they have an adverse reaction. They do that, and I'm like,
well, that's when those guys get introduced to people like Brett at the end of the night.
Yes, and Brett sees it a lot.
Oh, that's true.
Stacy doesn't need hard alcohol to kick your fucking ass. Okay.
I think I want to get this on tape though. But my big takeaway for anyone out there who's, you know, because when I was going through it, I'd always listen, like, how'd that dude quit drinking?
Yeah.
So I want to send this out to whoever listens who might be struggling with booze, is that. For me, I'm telling you what, on the other side of it, not only like, how do you have fun? How do you do it? Dude, it's so much more fun. I went out and got a Corvette. My friend, my neighbor, the first thing he says, he was like, well, you're going to get pulled over. I'm like, what do I care? I don't drink.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
That was one of my, what
do I freaking care?
I wouldn't go to several events when I was at my peak in like the mid 2000s because it's like, should I go to this concert or this fair or this festival or this gathering? And it would be like, well, no, because you're going to get fucking wasted and you're going to have to drive 30 miles back home and you want to DUI. So I would go to the local bar instead and I would miss out on shit.
And you'd miss out.
And it was always it was a factor.
And you talk yourself into it like, oh, it's okay. You know, it wasn't meant to be, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
But the reality is because I couldn't say no to the booze and I couldn't participate.
Yeah. Right.
So,
and then when I was sober for that period, I was able to do all kinds of
stuff.
Shit. It was like, you just never thought about it. You got to do all the stuff.
Even back in the TGI Friday days when you had the Mustang.
Oh my
God.
The
Mustang. If you don't mind me saying, you know, Dave, I don't know if you fell asleep at the wheel, but remember when you put it into the guardrail?
Oh yeah.
You almost killed yourself in that thing. You got it fixed up, and wasn't even a week later you did it again?
No. What happened? Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you're going way back. Thanks.
More trauma. More trauma that Brett brings.
It is what it is. That's my life.
Thanks, insurance company.
And I don't those moments like that when I see pictures and I look at pictures and I'm like, oh God. And it's hard for me because that's not how I want to be remembered. And I think that was my driving force for me is I don't want my kids looking back in their life or talking to their husbands or partners or whatever, you know, whatever their future entails for them when I'm dead. That my dad couldn't come to the softball game because, you know, he's a box of wine in.
Right.
Or a bottle of booze in. I couldn't walk him down the aisle because I got high blood pressure and I stroked out.
And you don't always want to be seen like that too. It's like he's you know, when I drink, you don't want to go, hey, you know, go to another function. It's like, God, it smells like alcohol all the time.
Right.
And then, so my dad was hardcore, you know, if you would say an alcoholic, 100%. But he was never there. And when I mean never, I would hear from him once a year, or we'd do two dates. And this is 1980. And this, I can't believe that this still happened. But that's Generation X. I would get 2 dimes from my mom, 1 dime to get on an MTC bus and go downtown and meet my dad.
Oh, not a dime bag?
No, I already know where this is going.
10 cents. So I'd hang out at the bar while he had White Russians and got drunk enough to take me to the Twins game, or we'd go to a movie. That was it. And that would happen every, I don't know, anywhere from every 2 weeks to every 8 months. Like, it was just random. He would call and make plans. And so and he was never there for, you know, anything that I did. I played baseball, I played hockey, I did things, never there. And so that's kind of like, I think where part of my story, you know, comes in. But as a father now, I've got 2 daughters. They're 9 and 11. And my dad would know, he would actually call me drunk on Saturday night at 8 o'clock and say, we're going to go bowling tomorrow. And I'd be excited. And then he'd never show up. So
that's an interesting question. You want to do that, right? You want to be at everything that your dad didn't do for you, right?
Right. So that's my point. Is what I'm getting there. It's like, it's like I am opposite of my father, and that makes me a good father. I'm there for everything. I keep my shit together 3-4 days a week for my daughters. You know what I mean? Like, but if I was struggling with alcohol, no. But it's like
C's get degrees.
but I'm there. I'm at every parent-teacher conference thing.
Good for you, man.
Like
good for
practice, and I take my daughter to gymnastics every Tuesday. So. Yeah, that's what I need to do, and that's what keeps me on the level where, you know, I've been called an alcoholic by some people in my life that I don't deal with anymore. But it's like, no, you don't even know what the fucking definition is. That's what you're gonna say about me.
You tell those bad.
I am not.
They can just fuck right off. They don't know what the hell they're talking about.
My dad was an alcoholic, and when he would drink, he would come downstairs as I was watching TV, and he'd go, I love you, Gene. So he was one of those. He wasn't a hater. He was a lover.
But didn't you bust?
He couldn't do that sober.
Yeah.
I busted him.
He's got to have some sort of trauma too.
Yeah.
I busted him.
But I mean, he would like disappear.
No. We used to watch PBS.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the den, and there were 2 easy chairs. Okay. And so then he would get up and leave, and I'm going, okay, it's been a few minutes. Where is he going? Right. So I went outside, and there's a door that went into the garage, and I saw the light on from underneath the door, and it was dark out. So I'm going, oh, I know what you're doing in there. So I opened up the door super fast. I go, hey, what are you doing in here? And he goes, God damn it. Fuck. Because he was trying to pour booze into a Coke can.
And he
And
spilled
he
it
goes,
all over.
God damn it, you made me spill. God damn it. And I went, yeah, whatever. It's actually true.
But I mean, yeah. He quit drinking for a while. But he had cancer for a big chunk of his life, and it finally,
He had multiple
yeah,
types of cancer that metastasized into bone cancer.
yeah. So and he passed away at 72. So
Yeah.
real hard because I mean, I love Bob. Bob was awesome. He was.
What was the first thing he said when he met you?
Well, I had long hair
Brett?
when I first met Bob.
Dirtbag.
Yeah, I was dirtbag, but I mean, I walked in, I got the long hair, and Jean had dated guys with long hair because she loved the rock and roll girl. She liked the bands and
Scumbag.
stuff. Yeah.
Who the fuck is this guy?
So I walk in and I go to shake his hand, and he looks at my hand, looks me up and down, and he goes, "When are you gonna cut that fucking hair?"
No,
And then I just didn't even
no, he said, when are you going to cut that fucking shit off?
And I just looked at him and I went, well, I go, I don't really need to have long hair anymore. I don't like playing a band or anything. But apparently your daughter's got like some, hair length requirement.
Called a fetish.
And he looks at me and he goes, "Ugh," and turned around and walked away. And I'm still standing with my hand out going,
Nice.
that was the first time I met Bob. But I stuck around. And then
Did Bob warm up?
Bob warmed up. After a while, Bob warmed up. And I think he really warmed up when I was living with Tim Haynes Patrick. When he was married to Dustine in
Oh my God.
Northeast.
That's a couple of names I've
Yeah.
heard forever.
So Bob's at the table, and we just had dinner and stuff, and Bob was talking about the Corvette that he wanted. He wanted to get the silver anniversary Corvette. And it was like on a Saturday. That was Saturday night. And I had just went over to talk to Tim briefly, and they had that Corvette on the, on the main floor there.
Showroom floor.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I looked at all the stuff on it. I'm like, oh my God, this is great. So Bob's sitting there, he's listing off all the same things. And I'm like, he goes, yeah, I got to go down to, Tennessee to go pick one up. And I'm like, why? I go, there's one at Rosedale Chev. And he's like, no, there's not. And I'm like, yeah, there is. I just looked at it today. He goes, no, you're mistaken. I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure, Bob, that it's still there. Let me call Tim. And I called Tim and I hand the phone to Bob,
right.
and Bob's going, well, I'm looking for this. And he goes, really? You don't say, really? Really? A lot of reallys. And his face gets happier and happier. And it's like a light bulb. And he's like, okay, then. And he hangs up and he gets up and he's going. It's like, where are you going? Like,
Next morning.
yeah, no, he left like right then and there to go
Friendly
look at
Chevrolet.
yeah, he goes, I'm going up to, Rosedale Chev to meet Tim, because Tim goes, come and take a look at it. There's a bunch of people that.
Well, did he get it?
Yeah, he goes, there's
He
a
wanted
bunch
to
of
know
people.
if he wanted to test drive it, and he's like, I don't need to do that.
And Tim was like, oh, that he took Tim out. But he wanted it, and Tim said, well, you better come look at it now because it might be gone tomorrow morning. So, and I'll go and open it up.
The classic used car salesman.
No, but I mean,
I don't know, man.
But
There's a line of people wanting to make bad decisions out the door here.
but there was, I mean, there's like a number of people that were looking at it that were going to come back, but nobody put any money down. And that's you putting the money down, it's yours.
Yeah.
So Bob went and looked at it, brought the checkbook, looked at it and said, yep, and wrote Tim the check and goes, here it is. And then somebody came in the next morning to put money down, and Tim goes, yeah, no, last night he came in, here's the check. And the guy was like, God damn it. Yeah, the guy was pissed off because he was going to buy it. But if Bob would not have gone down to Rosedale Chev that night to put the money down, he wouldn't have got the car. But he got the car.
Been traveling down south.
Yeah, he would have had to go down to Tennessee, and he would have been on a wait list, and then he would have to go down there and pick it up. So he got the car of his dreams because I was sitting at the table, and after that, I was golden in Bob's eyes. So,
Yeah, so the
You made the dream come true.
yes, I did.
So the long hair didn't matter anymore.
Yeah, so, not so much anymore. So yeah,
So does he come around at different events and tell the story of Brett got me this.
No, he didn't. But Bob passed away quite a few years ago. But and it was kind of
What vet was it?
It was the silver anniversary, 50th year, and John, his son, now has the car. It's a great car. It's awesome. In fact, we were down in Tennessee to visit the family, and John goes, "Here's the keys, take it out."
So he goes, "We're just gonna go around the block," and it was like 5 miles. It's like, what?
Oh yeah.
An hour later,
You're gonna give a cop
I've
a
wanted
guy
one my
that
whole life.
beats on cars. You're gonna give him the keys? Thank you.
And you got the get out of jail free card. So
And right.
just like, hey, motherfucker, I'm doing 110 because I can.
It's a fun car. But I mean, trying to get in and out of that car was like, wow. I mean, I'm like trying to get out, and it's a struggle.
Well, yeah, when you sit in the seat, you open the door and you can just put your arm out and you touch the road.
Ground.
That's
Yeah,
all
How
it is.
old are you? It's not that hard. I've got 4 knee surgeries. It's not that fucking hard.
You reach out and touch the ground.
No,
and
you
then just
you
roll
actually.
Oh my
out.
God. Well, that's all, folks. Thanks for the geriatric hour here, where Brett can't get out of a damn car.
No, I was just saying it was so low to the ground that
Wait,
it was.
how can you have 4 knee surgeries? You only have 2.
Well, I like to do things in repetition. That was the construction years. Yeah, we
So-
Gormans. That's that Norwegian blood. Solid knees. Patrick, am I right?
I got a hip replacement in 2016.
Oh my God.
So
I
how
did,
did
seriously.
I'm hearing ACL, meniscus, maybe
3
Okay,
ACLs.
we are starting to sound like
and
an old
an
man
meniscus.
sausage party right
And then
now.
my toes. I had my toe fused 2 years ago.
jeez.
So how did you then go from music? Because you were doing the music and you're doing all that stuff, and then you went right into like construction and stuff like that. How did that even happen?
2 things. So number 1, let's review. I was poor because I was playing music and there was no money. And
you were an alcoholic.
Right. So there's the obvious path.
Hey, I'm not going to name names, but Brett knows. You remember a certain roommate at a place that I lived at? The guy would come home and drink a 24-pack of Coors Light every night and then wake up and go to a construction job.
Oh, we call those drywallers.
Oh yeah.
But
So-
no, it's a meme too. I've seen it. Like, how do these motherfuckers case a beer a night, wake up at 6 a.m. and go build shit, and then come home at 3 and do the same thing over and over again?
You got to have
I'm
a little.
sure you've known that, right?
Yeah.
I certainly haven't done that.
Well, you know those people, though.
You got to have a little focus. But
Not to drywall.
so oh God,
Not to try.
it was one of those things where I kind of, they say that you kind of fell
Yeah.
into it,
Yep.
and I was doing some odd jobs for some lady.
But were you always a crafter or somebody that
Right, I always like working with my hands.
Hands, okay.
like playing guitar, doing stuff with my hands, like being creative. So
Yep.
remodeling to me is another expression way of
Sure.
of-
It's artistic
of-
expression.
Right. So I could come down. This is Brett. Your house is beautiful, and I would do
Thank
things
you.
like this. I can
Yeah.
I can see the finished product. I can see we're
Thanks,
going to have
Gene.
bars and all the other stuff.
You can see a
I already knew.
an artistic
But-
vision.
Right. So that was the obvious thing for I don't care for commercial work. What I do now
Sure. Yep.
is very boring. It's very unsatisfying. It's like, oh, this motor's bad. I can't wait can't wait to fix this. So that's how I got into it, and I did it for a long time, and I actually genuinely liked it. So I could build you a house.
Well,
Just
if you
top
had
of
a
my
dream-
body.
If you had a dream job, the dream job, what would that be?
It's a solid question. I honestly, what I do right now specifically is pretty awesome.
Okay.
It genuinely is. I got the companies I work for and the people who employ me are very kind to me, and I kind of get to run the show, which
Okay.
is pretty amazing for what I do. It's not typical, so I'm very happy with what I do.
Well, at our age, we should be running the show at some point.
Well, no, you're absolutely correct. Where you need to be able to teach. On my job now, my job
pass
is
on
to
your
teach
knowledge.
myself
Yep.
out of a job. I need
Yep.
to teach the teamers behind
Yep.
me. This is what I do.
Yep.
And when I'm not going to be here forever,
Yep.
I don't want to be.
Yep.
You need to understand how this works. So yeah, absolutely. There's that thing, which is at our age for sure is a thing. I like, my wife's still a real estate agent, from time to time. I'd like to get to flipping homes if I could do that. But honestly, I just physically can't do it anymore. And I don't want to.
Right.
Well, that's when you got to hire a bunch of young kids.
But that sounds great. I mean, if you're watching those TV shows, they're like, well, we're just gonna buy this house and the old realtor remodel, 20 gallons of paint and a roll of carpet.
No.
You're gonna die.
Yeah.
You have to.
There is so much more to it, and I love those shows where like, oh, they found a problem. What are they gonna do? They're gonna lose money. Is what they're gonna do. That's what's gonna happen. They're gonna have to fix it. That's a problem. You made a bad decision. So any remodeler guy is gonna, anyone in the trades just can't. We can't even watch those shows. They're so stupid.
Yeah, because they cut out all the bad stuff that you run into that you hate.
Well, that's just the day. Like they make it sound like that never happens. Like that's just the day in a life. That's just Tuesday. Oh God.
Yeah.
Did you account for all that mold and you have to replace everything?
Oh my God. I've taken out mold that I should not have been doing.
Put in a new toilet, flush it for the first time, and the fucking backyard blows up with
No, it doesn't quite work that way, but you're duly noted.
Dave's hitting the toilet, going, God, it smells worse every time I do this. The backyard's filling
out with. I didn't have a Jack Daniel's steak from Fridays last night.
Wow.
No, so I mean that's
I'm either on something or I'm on something, guys.
What's the favorite part of your job? What do you like to do the best?
So when I got hired to come to this campus is you guys all know it. I just don't want to say it on.
Right.
Yeah.
So it had been managed for a long time. 4 big buildings. You guys have all driven by them a million times.
Uh-huh.
And
the crack stacks.
No, I'm not in these are old buildings and been run down. Lots of deferred maintenance, neglect. I would find booze bottles in some maintenance rooms. I mean, in my industry, that's what we're dealing with.
Okay.
It's very regrettable. I'm unusual.
Sure.
So you can imagine for my industry.
Sure.
Yeah.
Which is why the ownership group and the management company are so kind to me.
Yep.
They just let me have it. I just kind of run it. And so the first thing is that I come in there and I have to, find out what's wrong, which is everything. And then I got to change the culture of the campus where you got to take the team members and instead of oh, they're just whiny, they're complaining, they're just complaining. They can't, you can't fix these tenants. Maybe your air quality sucks.
Uh-huh.
Maybe they want the urinals in the ladies' room to function correctly and with the lights that all work. I don't know. Things like that.
That'd be nice.
Can we start with things that work? They're not whiny, dude. They're paying for this. That is literally our job. That's who pays our salary. So it's taken me a year to do that. But we have changed the culture of that. And the tenants appreciate, they understand that I actually
that you're trying, that you're doing something.
Yeah.
Ship breaks, of course.
Awesome.
That's my job. That's why I'm here.
Yep.
And but I don't do anything. I'm not picking up the benches. I'm quarterbacking the show. I couldn't even if I wanted to.
Sure.
There's too much happening.
Yeah, you're directing the work.
It's just too much happening. Yes. But that comes also with the expectation of what my vendors, when I bring them in, because I bring a lot of vendors in.
Uh-huh.
That, you will clean up, you will work clean in a professional manner. And I've got great vendors. And the ones that didn't make the cut, they got let go.
Uh-huh.
I cleaned house. I got rid of we've been here for 30 years. You're part of the problem.
Yeah.
Right.
So
you haven't done anything differently and you're still doing this. So
correct.
Well, that's awesome. That's good.
Yeah.
And you like it?
I genuinely do. There's days.
Yep.
It's why they call it work.
Yep.
There's days where my phone rings. I'm the final say, and I get calls at sometimes, but not like.
You want to mitigate those things, and if you don't go through those things, then you're not growing and you're not
correct.
Learning,
Correct. Yeah. So I've been really blessed. I think with the last few years of my life specifically, obviously, as we touched upon with the booze, but things are really going well. And I think if I stay focused on my target, which is keeping my family together, and we're always striving, pushing forward. I'm trying to get better too. I'm trying to I'm finally, after all these years, trying to get my guitar playing to be better. I'm a terrible finger picker.
Yeah.
But like all old guys, he's fine.
Yeah.
Like, I'm starting to get into acoustics. I'm buying some new guitars, and I'm getting back into it. My home studio, all these things I just kind of have given up on.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
You come back around. You find those old hobbies and you bring them back. And you go, so now I finally have time for this, and I really want to focus on it.
Part of it being the girls are older.
Yep,
for sure.
Yep.
They're self-contained.
Are your girls doing music?
My youngest is a phenomenal singer.
Okay.
So, I was just this is just recently, the last couple months. I was laying down some acoustic tracks badly, just so we're clear. I understand that they're badly, but Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You.
Yeah.
From Led Zeppelin. I'm working on that. I got it pretty good, but so I lay down a couple tracks. I'm just kind of working with, not because I'm trying to re-record the song. I just want to lay it down so I can learn the program, the software. That's all I'm doing. Right. Well, she comes down. She doesn't even know the song, right? She just kind of hears. She hears me been working on it for a couple of weeks, trying to get the fingers. I can actually play it in some remote sort of time function. No. And I set up a mic for her, kind of like what we're doing here. And she just starts almost kind of like, the Great Gig in the Sky of Pink Floyd.
Sure.
She starts doing this little thing over it. So next thing you know, we start doing a bunch of takes.
Oh, okay.
I kind of dime the reverb on it a little bit. So it's just fun things like that. And then she got into it. She's like, you got to go, Dad.
Oh.
So then she starts learning the software because, she's 17. She's Gen Z. They know how.
Oh, yeah.
It's like that's born with them.
I know. It's sad.
I give her the most useless tutorial of how this thing works. It took me 3 days and umpteen videos to figure out.
It took her 10
Why is there all this latency in here? I don't understand. I got to look up the word latency. What the hell does that even mean? And then she started to pull her own programs in. So I'm excited for that.
I see a little father-daughter thing coming up. That'd be fucking great.
I would be amazed.
That would
She'd be like, yeah, no.
Do you know the band Skywind? And by the way, I probably sound much better because I just figured out
you
a
do sound a
technical
little
issue.
better.
That sounds way better.
Yeah, it does.
Jesus
And
Christ!
now
I'm so sorry, guys.
Yeah, and you're not. You were
Not laggy.
You were blocking out too.
You're clipping.
Sorry. So I apologize for the last hour and 15 minutes.
so you just replaced the battery in the.
I had the wrong mic put. No, the software I use, it had the wrong mic input. So
now, ladies and gentlemen at home, understand that he's a 10-year radio veteran.
DJ from
25. I'm sorry.
93X.
Oh my God. What the hell does this thing do?
Yeah, that's why we had radio engineers. I would just literally walk in like a rock star,
do
my shit, and leave.
Yeah, you're right.
To set this up.
The booze is not the problem.
Yeah, no. I've only had 2.5. Come on. I lost my train of thought. Fucking A. But no. Do you know Wally from Skywind?
No,
Skywind's been around for like 20 years, dude. Like 2003. They used to play in Maplewood a lot.
Oh, way out there. Yeah, no. For the last 20 years, I've been over on the west side of the cities.
No, but so my point is, Wally is a great guy. He's a great lead singer. He's a great musician. His daughter is now like, I think 20, 21, and they do shows together. Like they do acoustic sets and they write music together. It's just, it's a beautiful thing to see. And
you're asking the wrong guy. This half of that equation's like, oh, hell yeah. The other half,
so
like,
Dave,
I can't even get them to come to a show.
Does either one of your daughters do they play guitar?
Olivia tinkered around with it for a little bit, but she kind of let go of it. She was focusing on her studies a lot.
Oh, okay.
I've been.
So you said Olivia's the youngest or oldest?
Olivia's the oldest.
The oldest. Okay.
Vivian's the youngest.
Okay. But
they both speak 2 languages. They're both going. They're both accelerated classes.
So one likes to sing. The other one can play a little guitar or whatever.
Well, no, she tried. She kind of gave it up, but then she kind of got focused on her own stuff.
Okay.
She's got her own thing. They're both phenomenal. They're doing awesome things.
That's good.
And she's getting excited. She's working a ton, trying to make a bunch of money. She's going to Spain for fall semester next year for part of her degree.
Okay.
Her degree. All these things that she's got laid out before her, and I think a lot of it is because her mom and I you know, who I'm still married with. I find being married to one woman is just super easy. You know,
It's self-explanatory.
And
Everything
I
just
say
happens
that, and I'm gonna get punched. You know, she calls me practice husband number 3.
Like,
I'm her third husband.
Okay.
And I'm like, I don't know why you know, it's so much easier to do it once.
3
I
times the
don't,
charm.
I
Would
don't,
you
I don't.
agree, Brett?
I'm trying to break down that sentence.
Yeah.
Isn't it easier doing it
Married
once?
to
Yeah.
one woman or married to one woman or married to one
20.
woman? Like,
Oh
there's
no,
a
I'm just
difference.
yeah. Les and
How
I've
many
been.
years?
She's my best friend.
How many years?
My wife
Brett?
is my best friend.
He
How
said
many?
20.
Well, we've been married since 1997, so
Yeah, and we've been married since 03.
yeah. So
Well, Brett's my
20,
best friend,
20,
and I don't
22
take it.
years.
Never mind.
You
But
can have him.
Oh,
Whoa.
the main takeaway here is for the girls, and we'll move on from that.
Okay,
My main takeaway
I gotta
is
remember.
what I did with the girls is that
Let's keep
we're trying to provide an opportunity for them to have opportunities they can make decisions. Whatever we're talking about doing here right now with everything, that just kind of gets them to the starting gate. You're going to live their own life. I know that. And I know life goes sideways. Everyone takes crazy decisions. And, you know, all I can do is help you get to the starting gate. I chose poorly when I was a young man. I got some great stories for sure.
Yeah.
And I've learned a lot. I'm this way probably because of that, you know, of how I am and how I interact with people. I'm very sociable with folks. I can go to any scenario and just, what's going on? You know, I did something, you know, I know people specifically at other jobs I've worked at who are my leader, boss.
Yep.
And then I'd ask that person to like, hey, you need to go over there and you need to, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, that's your job. And he couldn't do it. He just, I can't do it. Can you do it for me? I'm like, it's not my role, dude.
Yeah.
Fine. Someone's got to do it. But so that struggle is kind of that where I'm at. But for the girls, you know, putting them through private school, sacrificing what we do. Which is, I would do it again in a heartbeat. It gives them the opportunity to hopefully have a little bit better opportunities in the future than
That's what you want. Always just
like any dad wants.
Yeah,
for their kids.
absolutely.
How was your Father's Day? Anything cool happened?
Well, I'm not a big birthday guy or a Father's Day guy or a Mother's Day guy.
Did you? The way you said that.
No. Just back up the truck. Just so you know.
I'm back up.
Well, no. Let me finish before you
I'm
interject.
fine.
This year, it's not our 25th anniversary or whatever like that, but I did some super husband stuff this year. And my mom and dad both passed a few years ago within about a year and a half of each other. It lived long life, you know, it happens, you know, we all die. I got these rings from my dad. I wear them all the time. And then we got some stuff from my mom. And then I also bought some stuff. So my wife is diamond up. And that was her. I told her when I did that, I'm like, I don't want to hand you this Mother's Day shit. She is literally
Love language, diamonds. Here you go.
literally a rock star on her hands. So I should be good. Should be good for a couple of days.
couple more months.
But I do have an out with all that because, and this is the beauty of these kind of things is that we had been married for, I don't know, 5-6 years, you know, and our anniversary, I'm like, here you go, happy anniversary. And she had genuinely forgotten. And I just had the biggest smile on my face. I'm like, oh, yeah.
There you go.
Baby.
I forgot.
It's a good day.
I forgot Brett's birthday one year.
Yeah,
And
see?
he goes, is there something you want to tell me today? And I'm like what? What? And he goes,
Take out the trash.
It's my birthday. And I'm like, holy shit, sorry.
Yeah, I am not a birthday guy.
But I don't care. I'm not a birthday guy either. You know, it's our money. So if I buy her something, you know,
does it fit
right?
you?
Yeah.
It has to fit him.
Yeah,
And,
it's,
you know,
if she buys something for me, she's buying it with, you know, my money. So we don't
Honey,
do
I got
that.
season tickets to the Vikings. Cool.
oh.
No,
But
Brett's like, honey, I bought you a 9mm.
it's my favorite color.
It's like Homer Simpson when he bought Marge the bowling ball.
Yeah, it said Homer right on it.
That's funny. I already have a 9mm.
Oh God.
But
Guys are such pieces of shit.
You know.
But you know what? You know,
I have an ear. I have
main
an
thing-
ear 15 though. A Colt, by the way.
But tell your daughters that they need to maintain music in their life to have sanity.
What they do, and they
get
also
that
have art.
over
So
father.
the music might be one thing too, but also Viv's is an artist. On top
Yeah.
of that.
Well, just art.
Yeah,
Period.
so
I do martial arts,
I'm a
but
big-
music, yeah.
I'm
whatever it
I'm
is.
a
Art.
huge fan of art,
Yes.
from theaters, comedy, anything like that.
Just do it on the side. Have fun.
I think it's such an important part of the human
Absolutely.
experience.
Yep.
And not to get all weird and hippy dippy on you like that, because I'm certainly not.
Mhm.
But it's a real thing.
Yeah.
And I
It's
think,
yours. It's yours. That's the main
and
thing.
I put the phone down, pick
Yep.
up a guitar, or
Yep.
pick up a pen or marker,
Right?
do something.
Yeah.
Right.
Anything that
And-
has art on the
And
end
I'm
of it.
guilty of it too. I mean, it's an easy time suck. You
Yep.
know, of course I am.
Well,
So,
you'd rather have that time suck than a TikTok time suck, you know,
right,
in,
well,
in social media or
because
whatever.
these hands come with me wherever
Yeah,
I go.
exactly.
Even from a construction side or whatever.
And the main thing, when the power goes out, you can always pick up an acoustic guitar.
Right.
You can't do anything else, right?
Typically, when the power goes out, that's my wife sends me out in the ice and cold, getting the fire up the generator.
I like her.
Patrick doesn't have that.
What do you mean the power's out? There's no modem, no internet. I'll be right back,
No.
woman.
The power goes
Honey.
out here when there's a fire. So
You want to
that's
sit here and
not a
talk with a candlelight? Oh my
What? You
god!
want to read a fucking book? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh god! But you know what, man? This has been a pleasure. I wasn't sure what was going to happen. Patrick, thanks for sharing, and you're great.
good- Yeah, yeah.
Stacy, thanks for being there, bald. I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Once we dimmed down that light there, it was,
Yeah, the reflection
cutting
on my
me.
head. This is why Brett brought me on, is to give you guys the lighting. That's what it was. It's like, instead of the big screens, you know, I have the heads.
We need to have at least one person without hair on the
Oh.
show to be equitable.
That's what it is.
I don't count because I got the mohawk.
He's got a strip
Oh, we call that a landing strip.
Landing strip, yeah.
on Patrick's head.
You know, things
That's
have,
so fucking
genitalia is
80s.
right below it,
That's
right?
80s.
Yeah, thanks.
times have really changed.
Yes, they have. Yes, they
Fucking landing strip. That's 80s, you guys. Fucking
So-
no one has pubic hair anymore. Hello. No.
Okay.
Now the big question is, and Gene wants to hear you play some guitar.
Sure. Why
Yeah,
not? I
please.
mean, it's
So-
let's keep the
Well, I tried
expectations
to,
low.
but then
It's just-
you
yeah, this-
pooed
well,
both.
but-
Really?
Is it even in tune?
Jesus Christ.
It
guys.
should be in
Can I
tune.
sign off then?
Right? Can I be with him? Take me out.
I'm sure.
buddy.
Do you have a pick in that pocket?
By the way, I did when I think you told me to search for a 45-second video earlier. I couldn't
Yeah.
find it, but it was Gene. I don't know if you could spend more time on it, but he was saying how Verge picks their songs.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Is that on YouTube?
It should be. Text him.
Yeah, let me text.
I don't
Send it to
know.
him.
I can't.
You.
But anyway, I did come across like your video and your band playing, and I was like, "Holy shit, you guys are fucking crazy amazing!"
It's
Like-
goofy.
It's a theatrical production, man.
Well,
Holy shit! So
I
I'm just trying to
mean-
tell the people that are watching or listening, like, fuck, you got to check out Verge on YouTube because it was like, holy
What the hell
shit.
is this? You got a
VergeRocks.com is actually where you want to go for it. But
Humidifier. Dave's going to play a little bit of guitar, something.
Is this thing plugged in, or we just?
No, you just take the
Oh, cool.
take the mic and
Just point it down just a
put
little
it down
bit.
a little
just-
bit. You'll
here.
pick it up.
Let me-
So if you go there,
Oh,
Oh, there you go.
yeah, it'll pick it up.
sorry, I'm watching the video.
I know this song.
That's funny.
I can't hear it.
That sounds like a little Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
It's a little Led Zeppelin-ish.
I am not an acoustic
Oh, you're good.
Do you know Straight Outta Compton? No.
He's going to play straight out of Gorman.
Wow.
I can't play it.
Is the camera on him, or is it just on my end? Because I'm seeing you, Brett.
There we go.
There you go.
There we go.
Oh, now it switched back. As soon as you talk.
You know.
Nice.
I love it.
I wish you would have told me you want me to do this. I would have prepared something for you guys.
No,
That's all right.
Just
It's off the
mess
cuff.
around.
It's fun.
Just
Yeah. Okay. Well, here's some open chords. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about Baby Got Back?
Stairway to Heaven.
No.
Freebird.
Freebird. Freebird.
Yeah. I got nothing, troops. I mean, you know. I mean, if we were gonna do this, you should have fired
Audience
up.
of one by
You should have
Rise
fired
Again
up.
would be
Fired up
my
the
request.
Mesa.
Audience of one.
We
by
we,
Rise
we
Again.
always surprise the guest with here's a guitar play, and they're
Well,
like, crap.
I think we need to have a touchback meeting like 6 months from now. But anywho, nice guitar, by the way, dude.
It's very nice.
Koa.
That's all Koa, the entire thing, and
Yeah, thanks, Gene.
Ebony. Well, Gene paid a good chunk of that, and I paid the other chunk, and
Same checkbook.
yeah, we paid for it together.
That's okay. That's the same checkbook I used when I got.
So
the
you just okay. So you mainly play acoustic guitar. What kind of acoustic guitar do you? Or, I mean, I'm sorry, electric guitar. What kind of electric guitar do you have?
I got some cool guitars. I got.
So should we get the electric guitar or bass? Because we've got those too.
No, I'm good.
What's
sure?
your
I'm
favorite?
good. I don't want
We
to.
got it. We got them all.
No,
We got them all.
No, I'm good. I have a 1976 Gibson Black Beauty
Nice.
with a Bigsby on it, and I just picked up a brand new Les Paul Gold Top, which
Yeah,
is going to be,
I
which
saw
is going to be
that
my
on Facebook. You
Yeah, I
posted
just
that
got
pic.
it.
That was
It-
awesome.
For us non-musicians, what are the significance of those two guitars? Is there somebody that
so
has a sound that we'd know from those guitars?
bands, you might have heard of Led Zeppelin. Allman
Who's
Brothers,
that?
You know, Guns N'
Just the
Roses.
greatest fucking rock band ever.
Fuck yeah.
So, a Gibson Les Paul is named after a guitar player back in the 30s and 40s named Les Paul.
Yep.
And he actually came up with how you could do multi-tracking. He figured that out way back even then. And so he had a hit song with, was it Mary Ford?
Yeah,
His wife
Yep,
or
his wife.
yep.
Yeah,
And who's also another phenomenal player, by the
Yep.
way. And Gibson was trying to keep up with look at me just rattle off random facts.
I love it. I love it.
Gibson was trying to keep up with Fender, who had just came out with the Telecaster. Actually, back then they called it the Broadcaster.
right.
Wow.
That was pre-Stratocaster.
Useless information coming out of nowhere.
I think Kiss was
Wow.
a Fender band, right?
No. They're,
Fuck. Okay.
yeah.
I'm taking the shirt
Did
off
you
now.
work for CDs 97? Where did you work again?
You talking about Ace Frehley?
For fuck's sake.
Fuck out of here. Yeah, no, I thought he was a Fender guy.
Ace Frehley had a Gibson, and he had a fake pick or a fake pickup.
Are you drinking
and
White Claw?
You'd push it in, and
So, okay.
I'm muting my mic.
No, I'm sorry, man. Anyways, they came up with the Gibson Les Paul it was a carved top, mahogany body with a maple top.
Yeah.
And then Les Paul's like, what color do you want? He's like, I want gold. And then what's the other color you want? He's like, black. So the significance for me having the Gibson Black Beauty is just that's you get a Gibson Black Beauty. Everyone knows it's a black Les Paul,
Yeah.
3 pickups.
Oh,
Like
yeah, I remember that
Kiss.
song by Ram Jam, Black Beauty, blam, blam, blam,
Yeah,
Black
yeah.
Beauty.
So
Oh, that's what they were talking about?
Remember?
They were talking about that?
God,
What?
I don't
Or they're
know.
talking about
Cities
something else?
97 now. I work at Cities 97 now.
Oh my God.
You schmuck.
That's KQ92. Oh wait.
Wait.
So play an original. If you're not,
I
I
if
love
you're not
that you picked the shittiest station Minneapolis has ever seen.
You're welcome. You are welcome.
Yeah.
play an original.
Original.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
Well, I'm here with.
Yep. Do it.
Patrick was a big old guy. Patrick liked all the stuff and played CDs 97. I can't hear myself. When he couldn't figure out that Kiss didn't play Fender guitar. Patrick was my favorite guy. Sacrament with a T. Oh. Yeah, I heard that one.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that's some legacy shit. You know, I have daughters too, and when I'm dead, they're gonna watch this and go, "Oh, that's." Remember, I said Sacramento.
Yeah. You made a big thing about that.
Obviously, he watched the previous episode.
I did, and I was like,
Jesus.
"Oh, I gotta make a note of that." Sacramento. Damn Minnesota.
Oh.
Anyways,
So when did you work? Did you work on Fridays with Brett?
oh yeah.
Like, because I used to go in there all the time, man. I'm sure you served me.
Well, that was downtown. Me and Dave worked together at the Roseville TGI Fridays.
Oh,
Yeah.
And
the
then I
Roseville
went
one.
downtown because
That's where they sent the people that weren't good enough to be downtown. They sent to Roseville.
Sure.
yeah.
No, but no, Brett, you've taken me to Roseville Fridays a couple times.
Yeah, yep.
And you were like, "This is so and so, and this is."
Yeah.
The Roseville TGI Fridays was nice.
Actually, it was a pretty nice place.
It was a good place. It was a great place to work. You know, I just I started working downtown at Tony and Tina's wedding, and downtown fit me more than Roseville. I like the downtown feel a little bit better, and I moved down there. I used to.
Yeah.
But I mean, and I worked downtown for a long time, and it just fit me better, and I love downtown. I needed to get out of the suburbs, and
But Brett, you know what? We talk about everybody else on the show, but you. I've known you for so long. What got you into TGI Fridays? It's such a huge part of your life. Did you just go there to be like, fuck, I need a gig and I'm going to try bartending?
God is fucking Friday, man.
Well, I had been a bartender in the past, and then I was working for a company called Merry-Go-Round Enterprises. There's a clothing store called DJ's, D-E-J.
I married a bartender.
So DJ's, I started out selling clothing at the store and worked into assistant manager, and then I went to a different store to manage, and then I started doing their all the stores. There's 2 stores in Wisconsin and the stores here, so I was a district supervisor, and there was a district manager, and then I worked for him, and
you're like mid-20s at this point?
Merry-Go-Round Enterprises, if you remember that clothing store, Chess King, they bought
my God,
yeah, they bought out Chess King and a bunch of stuff, and then the market dipped and did something, and they lost. It was $1 billion industry, and they lost.
You don't think it was because of crappy inventory?
No, they lost their asses because fashion changed, and they were on the outs again. So
the fucking goth kids came in, and then
they got rid of a lot of stores, and filed Chapter 11, debt protection, Chapter 13, and you know who's the first jobs that you get booted is the district supervisor. So I'm like, I'm out of a job. So at that point, right across the street was the TGI Fridays, and talked to the manager. I'm like, I need a job,
That's when you asked to move in with me.
Yeah, pretty much. But then I need a job. I've never waited tables before, but I'm pretty sure I can pull it off. And she goes, hell yeah, let's give it a shot. So I started waiting tables. And at the beginning, when I started working there, I was the worst waiter. I was like this close, literally, to getting fired so many times. But then they kept me on because I'm going to work harder. Just give me a chance.
Did you have
to work
dirtbag
harder.
long hair then?
I did. And because we had hats, you'd wear a hat. I'd roll my hair into a bun and put a baseball hat on.
I had a hair requirement.
Yeah. So I started waiting tables. And then after I got good at waiting tables, I used to work at a place called Los Banditos. And then Dave needed a job.
I needed a job because that's when I came off the road.
And then it's like, well, and Dave got Dave a job at Los Banditos.
You worked at Los Banditos?
Yeah,
I did.
He was a bartender.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God, they had the best chicken wings
They
there.
did, didn't they not? The chicken wings were awesome.
It was fine.
It was fun. Oh, they were good. But so
I've had better.
I got Dave a job at Los Banditos, and then I was working at TGI Fridays, so I quit my job at Los Banditos, and then I became a bartender at TGI Fridays, and Los Banditos closed, and Dave gives me a call. Yeah, I need a job again. And I'm like, well, come on down to TGI Fridays. So got Dave in, and Dave was bussing. They're like,
Yeah, no, I just need a job. I didn't care.
he goes, they're like, you're a little old to be a busser. And Dave's like,
I need a job.
you need a job. So they went, all right, we'll give you a job. And he kicked ass as a busser. He kicked ass so good that they put him behind the bar to be a bar back. He was like the oldest
got that
bar back.
sparkling personality. How could you not, right?
The oldest bar back
Right,
we've ever
charming.
had. And that turned into him becoming a waiter, and then
didn't you
becoming a bartender.
Weren't you in the bartender Olympics or whatever? The fuck?
Yeah.
Bartender. Oh yeah. So this is like cocktail
Olympics.
movie. Like
Oh,
they
yeah,
would
this
send
is-
these fucking
Yeah.
Friday works
Yes.
down
This
somewhere.
is straight out
Yeah.
office
And they would
space.
have a competition, like spinning
Yeah.
bottles and shit.
Yes,
God, I remember
they
that.
did.
That was
so
the biggest fucking
Actually,
sigh I've ever
Brett
heard
and I
in my
were pretty
life.
good at it.
We were, yeah, and
You know, I mean, if you're going to be a cocktailer, you might as well make a show out of it.
Dude,
Right?
I bounced at Tropics back in the day. I was a
Wait,
bouncer
wait,
for
wait.
years.
Wait. David Kavanaugh, what year? Because I was there too. I was at Tropics. I was at Tropics.
Oh,
when
were you?
Yes, I was a bouncer at Tropics for David when it was Cowboy, and then it turned to Tropics.
Right. So I was like right after Cowboy. So it would have been 90, 95, 96,
That's when I
97.
worked there. Did we
Yeah,
work
you
together?
really? You guys
Yes.
probably worked
Holy shit.
together.
Do you remember
huh?
Syed? I remember Syed.
Yeah,
And-
yes, and then Tony,
And my
then,
buddy was Aaron, who had a job, Aaron Reimringer.
How
and
long
then,
these two know each other?
I know.
Just
So
met.
they're in the
It's
restroom and
funny.
they're
That's a
we
funny
also-
story.
in the
of the
restroom and they're
roommates was
pissing next
Gus.
to each
Remember-
other and they didn't even
remember
know it.
Gus, the bartender Gus that was just ripped.
Yeah,
as
yeah,
fuck
yeah,
with
Gus,
tan,
yeah.
And he
Yeah.
walked out with two women on his
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
arms
yeah,
every
yeah.
night. Gus, yeah,
Gus,
he was my
yes.
fucking roommate, dude.
yes.
We worked
Here's what's-
together. That's funny.
For everybody
Richie-
watching,
shit.
when Patrick
blown.
met Stacy the first time when we were doing a podcast, he thought Stacy was a girl. So he met him with this guy, and now we find out they worked together.
Wait.
Stacy remembers, so like they used to play the YMCA and
Oh,
like
yes.
the dancers would go.
Oh,
I was
my
one of
God.
those YMCA guys, dude.
Wait, come on, Patrick. We gotta know each other then. Come on.
No, it was the
Lena
YMCA.
and Doug. So you know I was a bouncer. We remember we were wearing I was wearing my Calvin Klein underwear.
Wait a sec,
God.
Stacy. Did you have hair back then?
I had hair back then.
That's
why
probably why he didn't recognize you.
I used to wear a mouthpiece around my neck because whenever I go into fights, I have like 7 stitches from a beer bottle from Tropics.
Shit.
Yeah.
Do you remember Channel 4 WCCO did a undercover investigation? Remember that was on the news when they were doing fire drinks at the
Yeah,
bar.
remember
and
we
they
were
didn't
in-
have a permit. And then when
Yeah.
Dave and I
They were
know
talking
fire
about-
drinks.
they were talking about the fights, and
Yes.
as
There was
someone
so many
throwing
fights.
someone out of the bar, it was bloody because they got hit with a beer bottle. I'm on camera opening the door, like, please throw this motherfucker out. So I open the door, and there's like 3 guys of you just going.
There's
boom,
some
and they
bad
literally
fights there. Holy cow.
Threw him out on the
Oh,
3rd
yeah.
Avenue.
I remember this guy wouldn't give up his beer. I grabbed him. I was trying to get the beer bottle. I was doing a disarm. And I grabbed him, and this one bouncer that we had, I can't remember, big guy. He just grabbed both of us, picked us up, and walked us outside together, and just dropped us. I'm like, holy cow! But yeah, that was the. I mean,
Holy
Ezra.
shit.
Do you remember Ezra Tuolo? He used to come in there all the time.
Yeah.
Ezra came in there. He'd always flip me 20s because I was Doc Holliday
Not
for
your
Halloween, and he loved that. And then we go on the bull all the time. We had the bull back there. We had a lot of celebrities back that came in. Warren Moon
Yeah, I
came
remember,
in all
like,
the time.
Charles Barkley used to
Charles,
go there.
yes,
and
a
whenever
lot.
NBA teams were in town, that was the
Yep,
place.
That was
man.
the place. Yep, that was so
And
much
I
fun.
was when I started, I was checking
the
IDs
boat-
at the front, and
Yep.
they liked me because I could fucking find a fake. And this is 1995, so it was
Yep.
easy to fake them. But I fucking no. And then they used to have cops there
Yep.
sometimes,
Yep.
on the busier nights. And I'd be like, I'd hand it to the cop and go, "Hey, Rachel thinks that's her," and he looks at it and he's like, "No, come here, girl."
You remember?
Take her out.
Remember Pretty
He'd
Blonde
give her a ticket and send her on her
Yelena?
way.
Yep.
And it was like,
Pretty
but
Blonde
they-
Yelena.
Syed and all those guys loved me because I was like the fucking like type A personality on the fucking.
And then
I could totally see you excelling in that role.
DJ.
Yeah,
and then you were
The
the
girls
voice of
liked
radio.
you, Patrick, because you had glitter in your hair.
Well, on the side, we're gonna have a conversation about this.
But
I was once svelte enough to like go on stage and dance with other guys that were fucking ripped and had 12 packs.
I would do the fighter.
When you started that sentence, I wasn't sure how it was going to end.
I would do the fighter.
You know what this reminds me of? What he's talking about? Ever seen that SNL skit with Chris Farley?
Yeah.
And who is the actor? Patrick Swayze. That's what I view. That's what comes to my mind. But no, Dave and I, after I went downtown TGI Fridays, and
I like listening too because I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, David was still bartending at Roseville TGI Fridays. I was downtown TGI Fridays, and it was just a different speed for me. So, and then I got into O'Donovan's and the Refuge.
Was one of those like corporate, like downtown was corporate and Roseville was
no, they're all
franchise?
They're all corporate. Yeah, they're all corporate. But it was kind of funny because when I got Dave his job there, one of the kitchen guys from Los Bandidos got a job there, and then Dave shows up one day and he goes, Jesus Christ, Brett, you should start charging Dave money for, placing him in jobs, which is kind of funny because...
Which is why I stopped going to you for work.
I'm going to stay a bartender all my life.
But even one of the bartenders there, I won't say his name on the podcast.
George.
No,
Jason.
we'll call him George. Yes.
Jason.
But there was a bartender at TGI Fridays that called me up once, and he was like going, hey, how did you go from bartender to police officer? I'm like, because I needed a pension, and I wanted to get out of the four walls, because I mean, I in a box.
Yep.
I wanted to be outside. I wanted to do something more.
There's nowhere to go.
There's nowhere to go. So I became a cop, and I go, why don't you come and do a ride along with me? So George,
I know who you're talking about.
Yep, comes and does a ride along, and he was like, this is for me. The first day, this is for me. What do I need to do? You got to go back to school and finish an associate's degree. I'll do it. I got to figure out a job and stuff. Well, you don't have to. We have CSOs that we can pay you a good chunk of money. And all right, so he came in and he applied to be a CSO, and we said, yep. We hired him. He got his schooling done, became a cop, and he's one of the best cops.
Awesome.
That the department that I work on has.
That doesn't surprise me.
The best. He's amazing.
He is awesome.
And I knew right away. In fact, one of my bosses also, when I did the ride along, and he talked to him for like 5 minutes, and he goes, he's going to be working for us.
Yeah.
That's what he said. He's going to be working for us.
Hey, when you see George, tell him I said, hey.
Oh, absolutely. I'll let him know. But yeah, he's fantastic. And he's working a great gig right now where he does street crimes and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
Fast pace. And he's awesome. And I even told him the other day how proud I was of him.
Yeah.
Good for you changing all these careers. Yeah. Changing all these minds.
That, he came and he had a question. I said, this is how you do it. And now I just look at him and I'm just like, I'm proud of the guy.
Yeah.
But can you tell them what your shirt says?
Oh yeah, this is Grind Gears.
It says,
it's from Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Sorry.
It's like
Volume
it screams, 2. I'm a bitch.
No, it doesn't.
You liked it so much you had to watch it twice, huh?
Twice, yeah.
I'm a bitch in German. I get it.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, so Dave and I have known each other for a long, long time, probably since 1987 at least.
It's funny, yeah. Dave Gorman. You don't have a relative named Gary Gorman that works in
I do not
record business? Do you?
No. If I did,
if you did,
I wouldn't be here.
Different.
Well, y'all are related somehow, somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere along the line.
No. In Sacramento, I was assistant program director, so that was a different thing for me because I was off air, kind of doing behind the scenes bullshit, and I had to deal with record that's the appropriate. I had to deal with record executives all the time. They'd call and want me to play their record and stuff.
Sure.
But one of them was Gary Gorman, and I actually liked him a lot. He's still doing his thing at Atlantic Records. He's kind of a big deal, but But yeah, every time I see someone's name Gorman, I just think Gary Gorman, because he used to call me every Monday. Hey, Patrick, how's it going? Yeah, I got this hot new record coming out. And this is how it works, too. They are literally fucking used car salesmen.
I was just going to say, he sounds like Tim Hayes. Hey, this car's going to be gone tomorrow. You better get this on the air now.
You got to get on it. We're going for number 1.
Cities 97 is going to play it on rotation if you don't get on it.
They're better than Anal Blast, I promise.
Well, speaking of Cities 97, your band, Verge, when are you guys playing next? Do you have it?
We are playing the 3rd, actually. Here we are thinking I was all sneaky. We got the 4th of July weekend off. And Tom, okay, yeah, you can have the 4th of July. We're playing the 3rd. Damn.
Yeah.
July 3rd.
So
yeah, that's a Thursday before a holiday. That'll be like a Friday.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be great for sure. I don't know. It's like it's by Alexandria.
Where you playing?
Okay.
I don't know. It's a city fest. We're geared mostly for outdoor shows. With what we're doing.
Where's Verge's next?
I think this was all old
concert.
They're playing in Savage. It's Neeson's
Neeson?
bar.
No.
That's
July 3rd.
That's July 3rd's the next one.
Sorry.
That's like.
But
So
you guys
is playing in London. I can tell you that.
No. There's
Jackpot.
You might want to get a new fucking name because every time I hit Verve,
I know,
Google,
right?
It gives me the Verve pipe.
It says Jackpot Junction.
It's a casino.
It's a casino.
Oh.
Yeah.
The casinos are awesome.
Yeah.
We play.
Sponsored by Cities 97.
We Come on,
Presented by-
hey, I'll see if I can get some swag.
So
Let me come back.
Look up my mail. If I went to my mailbox next week and there's a hat,
you're gonna
or
find
a
a
shirt,
piece of
dude.
shit in there.
Oh, don't.
shit, my
Okay.
You're gonna
Now
find
it's a mission.
Yeah.
You're gonna find a big old turd.
No, we do casinos. Casinos are great. I mean, they pay super
Yeah.
well. It's secure. You get a room, free food. It's
Oh,
no,
yeah.
it's-
So I actually know a guy that books for what's the one south a little bit like
Treasure Island.
Rochester.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, he actually books the talent there.
Yeah.
So if you need some help,
we play 3 of them. We do.
but Paul Dockendorf, do you know who that is? He does the
No,
booking.
The funny thing
he
is,
used to be the 93X promotions director. Now he's doing really kick-ass work for the casinos.
Oh yeah,
But
no,
and Brett, we got to have him on sometime too because
Absolutely.
he's a
But
he's a
what I'll
great-
do, Dave, is I'll throw up. We'll figure out when you're playing next. We'll put it at the end of the podcast.
Okay, cool.
And-
schedule. Yep.
it's on the website. I think. isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's awesome. I
If
saw
not,
it.
if not, I'll have Tom send you something.
VergeRocks.com.
Yeah.
Verge Rocks.
That's VergeRocks.com.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
So
Hey, it's
we'll
Patrick
put.
from 93X, and you need to go to VergeRocks.com. And coming up next, we've got Metallica. And no, sorry.
And
don't forget that-
Verge,
I'll work on the Patrick song. I'll clean that up.
That'll be great.
Well then,
Yeah.
all right. Well, so we'll put that in the end of the podcast, and we just what a great time having you
This
on the
is
show.
fun. This
Oh
is
man,
great. This
I had
is
a great
awesome.
time. Thanks, guys. I
Thanks,
appreciate it.
Dave. I love you.
Oh, you guys are awesome. So
Fun
going down memory
So,
lane.
folks, check out Verge at vergerocks.com.
Yep.
And check out the show. They got a great show from, kind of the videos and stuff like that. It's a big production. So if check it out and go and see them for sure. So
Support local music and tip your bartenders.
Damn
all right.
If you like this episode, just make sure you click that share button and or the
yeah, like and
the like and
subscribe.
like and subscribe and
Smash the like
share.
button.
tell all
That's
your
what they say.
friends. That's it.
And share.
Yep. And so, Brett, what's on for next time?
Next time is going to be Lance King.
Oh, right on.
From Gemini, so he'll be here. And we'll see you soon. So, all right.
Work
Thank
on
you,
getting Carrie
everybody.
King.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
All right.
Peace, man. Good
right.
times.
Have out. Peace out. All right. Have a good night, folks.
Awesome.
That's all I can do.